Chapter 910. But I'm very worried about Hanmo and my own situation, Lin Qian replied. I don't know why, but discovering someone's secret isn't a big deal. But the Zhou Qing that picked up the phone gave me the feeling that he was cold-blooded and heartless. Now that I think about it, I'm still a little scared. Don't worry, I'll protect you, Li Jin comforted. Since you don't want to live in my villa, then you can move in with my parents. After all, my mom likes you a lot. What are you talking about? Lin Qian glared at Li Jin. But Li Jin wasn't just saying it. He actually had plans to do so. After receiving the phone call from Lin Qian, Tongning couldn't help but re-evaluate Zhou Qing. He was known to be the best host in the industry, had a high EQ, was talented and had practically no flaws. But no one expected him to hide it so well. As soon as Mo Ting returned home, he noticed Tongning looking at Zhou Qing's information. He approached her and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" Tongning spent some time explaining to Mo Ting what Lin Qian had seen. After a few seconds of silence, Mo Ting's eyes darkened. To be able to disguise himself so perfectly, he's not an easy person to deal with. Zhou Qing's IQ and EQ are both very high, and he knows how to judge the situation. I'm afraid he even borrowed your help. Mo Ting was referring to helping Zhou Qing jump ship to a rival. Even though Tongning wanted Xia Hanmo to lay the groundwork. Tongning didn't dare to underestimate Zhou Qing, because she didn't like to underestimate her enemies. Ting, if what Lin Qian saw is true and Zhou Qing's disguise is true, then do you think we should be cautious of him in the future? He will definitely steal Xia Hanmo, Mo Ting replied. Originally, he wanted to slowly get closer to her and use Xia Hanmo and superstar media to solidify his position. But, now that Lin Qian has found out, he will definitely try to drive a wedge between the two of them. As long as Xia Hanmo trusts him, it means that you trust him. After all, Lin Qian's partner is in the military and military families are strict. As soon as they get married, Lin Qian will have no choice but to return to her family. So he assumed that you, who knows how to weigh everything, would give up on Lin Qian and choose Xia Hanmo. After hearing this, Tongning agreed with Mo Ting. He's wrong, I won't give up on anyone. If he's actually plotting against superstar media, I won't let him off so easily. Let's observe a little longer. Luckily, Lin Qian reacted quickly this time and denied it. She was currently dealing with Coco's matter, so by the time she found out, the consequences would be unimaginable. Plus, she didn't think that just because she didn't expose Coco, she would be safe. Zhou Qing was too good at pretending. In an instant, he completely overturned his image of a good man. But this time, such a powerful character, really, would he be so easy to deal with? Later that night, Zhou Qing pretended to care about his reputation and asked Xia Hanmo about Lin Qian. He even made a special trip to Xia Hanmo's apartment to treat her to supper. Xia Hanmo already had a deep sense of gratitude towards Zhou Qing. As long as Zhou Qing showed her the slightest bit of kindness, her impression of him would multiply. Hanmo, you're actually very talented. With the help of someone as capable as Lin Qian, your future will be limitless. You've actually helped me a lot, Xia Hanmo said. Thank you, Zhou Ge. It's nothing. Silly girl. Why are you thanking me so much? After speaking, Zhou Qing took Xia Hanmo for a walk in a quiet area. I've visited your brother at the hospital, so I know it hasn't been easy for you. Silly girl. It's been hard on you over the years. Xia Hanmo was a little surprised. She never expected that Zhou Qing would visit her brother. But the most surprising thing was, Zhou Qing took advantage of the time when no one was around to hug her. Zhou Gu, Hanmo. Zhou Qing was good at playing hard to get. He did not make any further moves, nor did he confess to Xia Hanmo. He simply made her heart race as he whispered in her ear. Although Lin Qian might misunderstand, I still want to hug you. This way, Xia Hanmo would hide the fact that Zhou Qing was hugging her because of the phone call they had in the parking lot. As expected, the next day, Xia Hanmo did not mention a single word about what happened the night before to Lin Qian. Because Lin Qian had to take care of her own safety, she couldn't reveal her true feelings. But she hated this feeling. She felt like the distance between her and Xia Hanmo was slowly growing. Since Tongning wanted to investigate Zhou Qing, she had no choice but to tell Lin Qian not to do anything. Meanwhile, Tongning wanted to quickly resolve the matter with Coco. That way, she could focus on dealing with Zhou Qing. So when Mother Li made an appointment to see Coco, she told Father Li to bring his bodyguards and lawyer. Coco obviously didn't want to see her mother. Her eyes were filled with disgust. Especially when Mother Li approached to hug her, Coco immediately sat down on the sofa and burst into tears. This was what Tongning had taught her. She wanted this woman to never harass her father again. You're a bad woman. For the sake of money, you abandoned me and father a long time ago. Now you're trying to take me back. You're inhumane. You're simply trying to cheat Dad of his money. You're so bad. Mother Li never expected that Coco would react in such a way. As a result, everyone's attention was drawn to her. Coco, Mom loves you. All you love is money. When I was 2 years old, you abandoned me in the snow. Dad was the one who saved me. You're inhumane. Now that I can make money, you're trying to take me back? I'm going to sue you in court. No matter what, she had to first stand on the moral high ground. She had to make everyone understand that this woman had abandoned her husband and daughter. She couldn't let Mother Li gain the upper hand. The little drama queen did her job well. So everyone began to point at Mother Li. How can a mother be like this? She's crazy. Isn't that the Coco that Mo Ting took a photo with? This woman is trying to take advantage of someone just because they're rich. She's unbelievable. Take a photo of her and expose her to the public. In an instant, everyone was scolding the heartless woman. Meanwhile, Coco returned to her father's side and let out a sigh of relief. A moment later, the lawyer approached Mother Li and said, "We are lawyers hired by Mr. Li and Coco. Madam, I think it's time for us to have a chat. When it comes to Coco's custody, you have no right to interfere, do you understand?" Chapter 9:11. What a joke! I am Coco's mother. Plus, her father doesn't even have the ability to raise her. Why can't I get my daughter back? Lawyers, don't think that you can fool me. No matter how good you are at arguing, you can't change the fact that Coco is my daughter. It's only right and proper for a mother to want her daughter back. As soon as the lawyer heard this, it was obvious that Mother Li was an unreasonable woman. So the lawyer directly handed a letter to Mother Li. Before you want Coco back, let's first settle a few things. Firstly, you abandoned your husband and daughter. When you first divorced your husband, you didn't raise Coco at all. In fact, you even abandoned her. So, let's talk about your legal responsibilities first. Secondly, even if you really want to get back custody of Coco, the court will definitely investigate your finances. With your current circumstances, are you sure you want to go to court? Madam, we all know what your motive is. But I can assure you that if you go to court, not only will you not get Coco back, you will also be charged with abandonment. According to our country's laws, abandonment is punishable by up to 7 years in prison. Think carefully. Mother Li was obviously intimidated by the lawyer's words. After all, abandonment and finances were 2 black marks on her that couldn't be erased. Even if I can't get Coco back, as Coco's mother, she's currently earning a lot of money. Isn't it natural for her to be filial to her mother? In the lawyer's eyes, this woman was a complete scoundrel. That's why Father Li was clung on to by a woman like this, and ended up being abandoned by her. Madam, you seem to have made a mistake. Today you won't be going to court to fight for custody of Coco. But we can still sue you for abandonment. If you really want to get in, I don't mind. You still want money? The lawyer sneered as he watched Mother Li's face turn from red to white. A jerk like you doesn't deserve to be a mother. Just wait and see. Your husband's children will kick you out of the family very soon. One last thing, Coco's value is indeed different now. But she's still not someone that someone like you can climb up to. If you appear in front of Coco again, I can guarantee that you won't miss a single day of your 7 years in prison. If you don't believe me, you can try me. After speaking, the lawyer turned around with his team and met up with Coco and her father. Let's go, it's settled. Won't that woman come looking for me again? Coco asked. Don't worry, I won't. He then carried Coco in his arms. As they parted ways, he turned to Father Li and said, Mr. Li, I'm not sure if you've heard of the saying, the weak are the ones who do the most evil. I'm sure you've tried your best, but you won't be able to protect Coco like this. I suggest you hand Coco over to Superstar Media and let them manage her future. After Li Du's father heard this, he knew that the lawyer was telling the truth. He nodded at the lawyer. Thank you, lawyer. I will consider it carefully. It's not a consideration. It's a necessity. After that, the lawyer got into his car and left the father and daughter's sight. Coco looked at her father's hurt expression and felt a little sad. Daddy, you're actually good enough. But Dad is really weak. Father Li sighed. Coco, let's learn together. You learn how to act, and I learn how to become strong. Okay, I promise, Daddy. The father and daughter promised to stay away from the scary woman. But, just as the lawyer predicted, as soon as Mother Li returned home, she was quickly chased out by her husband's children. The reason was simple. The woman had borrowed a lot of money from them. So, for the sake of the house, they demanded that Mother Li pay them back. But how could Mother Li pay them back? In the end, she was kicked out of the house. After hearing about this, Coco did not show much emotion. It was like she was listening to someone else's mother talk about how pitiful her life was. Afterwards, she threw herself back into filming. She said that she wanted to thank everyone that had helped her, and that she would do her best to learn and do her best. Xia Hanmo and Zhou Qing had already met up a few times in private. Practically all of them were done behind Xia Hanmo's back. As long as Xia Hanmo was at home, Zhou Qing would come up with all sorts of romantic ideas to make her experience an unforgettable one. That night, Zhou Qing arranged to meet Xia Hanmo downstairs again. But because Lin Qian still had something to give Xia Hanmo, she turned around and ran into Xia Hanmo and Zhou Qing taking a stroll in a nearby park. No wonder Xia Hanmo smiled a lot more these past few days. She originally thought that the filming was going smoothly, but it seemed Zhou Qing had secretly made a move. Lin Qian didn't know how deep Xia Hanmo had fallen. But if she told Xia Hanmo now, she would definitely not listen. If she did, she would fall into Zhou Qing's trap and cause their relationship to drift apart. What was she supposed to do? Lin Qian thought about it for a while and finally decided to give Tongning a phone call. Ningjia, I saw Xia Hanmo and Zhou Qing on a date tonight. Is there any way to stop them from seeing each other? Since Xia Hanmo is now afraid of you and has her guard up against you for something so important, let's beat her at her own game. Let's spread news of them going on a date. Afterwards, use the excuse that they can't be involved in a scandal to temporarily separate them from each other. Tongning instructed. Okay, I understand. Lin Qian didn't like to use underhanded methods, but this time she did it to protect her friend and her artist. Zhou Qing's true colors were hidden too well, so he wasn't worth being friends with. The next day, the newspapers published news of the couple going on a date that was suspected to be real. As soon as Lin Qian saw the news, she immediately gave Xia Hanmo a phone call. Hanmo, don't get too close to Zhou Ge for now. There's already a scandal going around. But how did news like this get out? Not only did Xia Hanmo not listen to Lin Qian's advice, she even began to suspect Lin Qian. The reason for this was because Zhou Qing saw Lin Qian's car return to her neighborhood while they were on a walk the previous night. Afterwards, the news started to spread. Of course, Xia Hanmo suspected that Lin Qian had leaked the news. After all, it wasn't the first time she had been betrayed by her manager. Hanmo, what are you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. I understand. Xia Hanmo replied half-heartedly before she hung up the phone. At this time, Zhou Qing was standing by her side. I don't know what's wrong with Lin Qian. It's fine. She's probably trying to stop us from being together, Zhou Qing laughed. But it was obvious that Lin Qian had lost this round. This also confirmed Zhou Qing's suspicion that Lin Qian had overheard his phone call. Chapter 9:12. On the surface, Xia Hanmo had indeed stopped interacting with Zhou Qing. After all, she was trying to avoid scandals. But behind the scenes, they were seeing each other more and more often. In Xia Hanmo's heart, Zhou Qing was magnanimous and elegant. He practically never got angry at anyone's evil intentions. So when she thought about how Lin Qian had tried to stop her, she became even more fearful of her. After following Xia Hanmo for so long, Lin Qian could already tell that every time Xia Hanmo spoke to her, She was always half-hearted. Sometimes, the relationship between women couldn't withstand tests, especially when it came to love. Lin Qian was anxious, but no one had discovered Zhou Qing's secret. Even if Hai Rui made a move, they wouldn't be able to find anything wrong with him. So what was she to do? Xia Hanmo once again fell into a trap. At first, the two avoided talking about Zhou Qing. But as Lin Qian continued to avoid him, Lin Qian's opinion of her grew. Qian, I feel like there's something wrong with you lately. What's wrong with you? Tell me. Lin Qian shook her head. The words were stuck in her throat, but she couldn't say them out loud. If you're tired, go home and rest for a few days. Lin Qian's heart was burning with anxiety and she felt wronged. So to avoid arguing with Xia Hanmo, she turned around and headed to the parking lot to retrieve a jacket for Xia Hanmo. At this time, Zhou Qing suddenly appeared from the shadows and said to Lin Qian, although I don't know how I've offended you, why did you expose my relationship with Hanmo? Plus, Hanmo values you so much. I don't want you to do anything to hurt her. Zhou Qing was still Zhou Qing, perfect and flawless. Lin Qian assumed that even if Tongning were to personally challenge Zhou Qing, she wouldn't be able to do much against him. You've really misunderstood me. I didn't do anything. Lin Qian did not take advantage of the situation because she knew that Xia Hanmo was nearby. I simply hope that Hanmo can be happy. I hope that you can be happy too. After speaking, Zhou Qing left, leaving Lin Qian standing there with trembling legs. If she hadn't overheard Zhou Qing's phone call that night, she would have developed a good impression of a perfect man like him. At this moment, Lin Qian felt that there were a lot of things that she couldn't explain because she had no evidence. Over the next few days, Xia Hanmo's attitude towards Lin Qian was extremely cold. She didn't know why their relationship had turned out this way, because of a man. Lin Qian couldn't stand this kind of torture. But she knew that no matter what she said, Xia Hanmo wouldn't believe her. Ningjia, I don't think I can take it anymore. Hanmo has become like a stranger. No matter what I say, she refuses to budge. After hearing this, Tongning felt like she was about to lose an artist. If she were to step out and say these words, Xia Hanmo would feel like the entire superstar media was plotting against her. If that was to happen, there would be no chance for her to turn back. Qian, you and I can't control a person's heart. We've already done everything we can. You should do your part and tell her the truth. If she still doesn't turn back, what else can we do? We have no evidence. Zhou Qing kept pressuring Lin Qian because he wanted Xia Hanmo to kick Lin Qian out. Their relationship had already deteriorated to this point, so it was only a matter of time before Lin Qian left. Is there really no other way? Hanmo is in danger. Hanmo won't be in danger for now. You are the one in danger, Tongning said in seriousness. From now on, even if you're with Xia Hanmo, you need to be in a place where we can contact you. After all, love made people blind and it also made them follow blindly. Okay. After giving Tongning a phone call, Lin Qian complained to Li Jin. She didn't know what else she could do for Xia Hanmo. All she could do was watch as Xia Hanmo jumped into a pit of fire. Li Jin comforted her and urged her to move back to his parents' home. However, Lin Qian still had a lot of concerns. But she would soon accept Li Jin's suggestion. As Late Night 8 p.m. was a nighttime show, all of the events took place at night. Plus, the venue was an abandoned amusement park on the outskirts, so the staff were on high alert. Lin Qian and Xia Hanmo were currently at odds with each other, so all she could do was watch from afar. After all, Xia Hanmo didn't need her help. Soon, due to a mission, Xia Hanmo disappeared and the staff followed suit. Lin Qian and a few other staff waited in the waiting room for a while. Afterwards, a staff member ran over to her and said anxiously, "Hanmo has disappeared." Lin Qian was a little surprised as she immediately stood up from her seat. What happened? She got separated while she was on a mission. I don't know where she is right now. Next door is a kennel owned by a farmer. After hearing this, Lin Qian had no choice but to follow the staff to look for Hanmo. However, she was still feeling uneasy. Along the way, she gave Li Jin a phone call. But, when she arrived at the abandoned area, she didn't see a single person. Lin Qian turned around, but before she could see her surroundings clearly, a few black dogs pounced on her. Lin Qian had nowhere to hide, and was pushed to the ground. The dogs pounced on her at the same time and bit her. Lin Qian knew that she was going to die today. But luckily, the dog kennel manager saved her. "Miss, are you okay?" Lin Qian gasped. Her entire body was in pain as tears began to roll down her cheeks. "How did you end up at the kennel on your own?" After hearing the old man's words, Lin Qian suddenly understood Xia Hanmo hadn't gone missing. She had simply been led into a trap. "Thank you, uncle. Can you take me home?" "Of course." Lin Qian did this so that the old man could be her witness. It didn't take long before the old man helped Lin Qian back to the filming location. However, the production crew had already moved to another location without notifying her. Haha, Lin Qian sneered to herself. Lin Qian held onto the phone that she had painstakingly picked up and gave Tongning a phone call. She then gave Xia Hanmo a call. This time, she no longer spoke in a tolerant tone. Of course, Xia Hanmo was happily filming the show and had no idea who she was. "Miss, you're hurt quite badly. Luckily, the dogs here have all been tested for rabies. But you still need to be careful." The old man escorted Lin Qian to the exit. Soon Li Jin's car arrived. Seeing Lin Qian in a sorry state, he thanked the old man and carried her into the car. Originally, he wanted to take Lin Qian straight to the hospital. But Lin Qian told him, "Go to the museum. Xia Hanmo is there." "Qian, I have to go." Lin Qian's voice trembled a little. At this time, Tongning put on a jacket and said, "Ting, I have something to do. Ting, I have some matters to attend to. Send me out once." Chapter 913. Xia Hanmo never imagined that she would hurt Lin Qian so deeply this time. Even though there was a huge conflict between them, she shouldn't have ignored Lin Qian. Especially since Lin Qian had suffered such a serious injury because of her. Throughout the entire journey, Li Jin's brows were tightly knitted together. Obviously, this man was angry, because to him, nothing else mattered. Lin Qian was his treasure. Yet, the person he treasured so much was treated in such a way by Xia Hanmo. Most importantly, he couldn't take Lin Qian to the hospital just yet. He knew that if he didn't let Lin Qian say what she wanted to say, she would regret it for the rest of her life. So before they arrived at the museum, Li Jin used the first aid kit in his car to treat Lin Qian's injuries. He then supported her as they walked towards the production crew. At this time, the guests were resting. As soon as they saw Lin Qian in such a sorry state, they immediately ran over. Of course, this included Xia Hanmo and Zhou Qing. "Lin Qian, what's wrong?" "Lin Qian?" Lin Qian looked at everyone before she finally looked at Xia Hanmo. "When you moved, did you think about giving me a phone call? Even if others don't mind, I'm your manager. Aren't you worried that I'm missing? I thought you had something to deal with, so I left first. I don't think I've ever left without saying goodbye before, have I, Miss Xia?" Xia Hanmo's gaze suddenly shifted somewhere else. Seeing this, Lin Qian couldn't help but sneer. "Xia Hanmo, after all this time, I, Lin Qian, have never let you down. So, I have something to say to you in private. Everyone else, can you please step aside? I'm currently injured, so it's not convenient for me to move around." Lin Qian's eyes were filled with extreme anger and hatred, causing everyone to subconsciously retreat to the side. Lin Qian looked at Xia Hanmo and scoffed. "Isn't the problem we've been having lately obvious? Didn't you want to know what I heard in the parking lot the other day? I heard Zhou Qing talking to his friend on the phone. He was the one who ordered his men to chop off the station manager's hand. This is why I don't want you to interact with each other. You actually forgot our past of fighting side by side for a man. Do you think I have any ulterior motives for you? Just now, someone said that you were missing and asked me to rush in to look for you. In the end, that person brought me into the kennel. If it weren't for the kennel keeper who saved me, I would have been torn apart by the big dogs. And what about you? I'm missing, yet you're so stingy with your phone call. As a manager, I've done everything I should have done. Xia Hanmo, from tomorrow onwards, you can start looking for someone else. After all, you already had that plan." After speaking, Lin Qian turned around to leave. However, Xia Hanmo, who had been silent for quite some time, suddenly spoke. "Zhou Gu has already told me everything you've just said. Lin Qian, Is it because you think you can no longer control me that you're putting on a show like this? Anyway, weren't you the one who leaked the information between me and Zhouge? You're leaving? Great, I also want to swap with you. I'll go talk to Ningjia. After hearing this, Lin Qian suddenly realized that the gap between the two of them was already so big. Without waiting for Lin Qian to turn around, Xia Hanmo continued. Just like Zhouge said, you are a rookie manager and I am a famous artist. How do you think Ningjia will choose? Lin Qian stopped in her tracks. Just as she was about to turn around, a powerful voice suddenly rang out from behind. Let me tell you right now how I will choose. Tongning. Why is Tongning here? Tongning. Everyone was shocked by the appearance of Tongning and Mo Ting. It didn't take long before Tongning arrived in front of them. Xia Hanmo looked at Tongning, and then back at Lin Qian. The answer was obvious. However, just as Xia Hanmo was feeling proud of herself, Tongning suddenly threw a slap across Xia Hanmo's face. With a loud bang, a loud noise was heard. I, Tongning, will never tolerate an ungrateful person. People who walk different paths can't work together. Xia Hanmo, you need to remember, the slap you received today was not an innocent one. After speaking, Tongning helped Li Jin support Lin Qian. Let's go. Xia Hanmo was stunned. Extremely stunned. She thought Tongning would choose her. Tongning, why? I am the famous artist. I can make you famous, but I can also make you go back to hell. For the sake of a man that you don't even understand, you are willing to give up on the person that protected you. Xia Hanmo, you are no longer worth the effort of Superstar Media. Tomorrow, I will send you a contract cancellation. Since your brother has someone to take care of him, I won't worry about him anymore. After speaking, Tongning led Lin Qian away. However, as soon as Zhou Qing saw this, he immediately ran over and spoke up for his girlfriend. Tongning, I think there must be a misunderstanding between us. This time, Tongning turned around and looked at Zhou Qing with a gentle smile. Zhou Qing, look at us. The CEO of Hai Rui, the boss of Superstar Media and a major general in the Air Force. Placing all your bets on Xia Hanmo was obviously not a wise decision. I don't understand what you're talking about. I simply want to know, why did you give up on your artist? What did Hanmo do wrong? She didn't do anything wrong. She simply bit the hand that fed her. Tongning said confidently. Superstar Media doesn't support people that betray us while helping outsiders. After speaking, Tongning turned around again. Lin Qian is seriously injured today, so I'm not going to argue with an idiot. Let's fight again another day. Let's see who's stronger than you. Zhou Qing, if I don't kill you, my surname isn't Tang. After that, they left the filming location, leaving behind a bunch of people with dumbfounded expressions. It could be said that Tongning had single-handedly saved Xia Hanmo's life. Yet, she had completely broken up with Xia Hanmo in front of so many people. And the trigger for this was Xia Hanmo's manager, Lin Qian. Above all, the most confusing thing was, why did Tongning hate Zhou Qing as well? What exactly happened? Is that why Superstar Media gave up on Xia Hanmo? Are they still going to film the show? Who knows? Hearing the discussions around her, Xia Hanmo did not respond. To be exact, she never expected Tongning's reaction to be so extreme. Meanwhile, Zhou Qing's analysis was completely useless when applied to Tongning. After all, Tongning wasn't someone that cared about benefits. Hanmo, are you okay? Seeing that Xia Hanmo did not respond, Zhou Qing immediately ran over to support her. Xia Hanmo did not say a word. She only had one thought in her heart. She thought Tongning was joking with her by being so serious. If Lin Qian didn't do anything wrong, then what did she do wrong? Chapter 9:14. Soon Lin Qian was sent to the hospital. Although her wound had been treated, she still needed to go through a series of shots. As she sat in the hospital room surrounded by familiar faces, Lin Qian couldn't help but burst into tears. Li Jin immediately pulled her into his embrace, so she wouldn't feel helpless. At this moment, Tongning could feel Lin Qian's suffering. So, even if she had to fall out with Xia Hanmo and tear her own work apart, she wouldn't hesitate. Not only did she not give Xia Hanmo a chance, if it weren't for the patrolling guards, Lin Qian might not have walked out of the kennel alive. But after Lin Qian disappeared, Xia Hanmo didn't seem to care at all. The thing that disappointed Tongning the most was when Xia Hanmo first appeared. Did Xia Hanmo think that she was amazing just because she was famous? Did she think she was going to give up on Lin Qian? From the day that Superstar Media was established, it wasn't for profits. The 4 people in the hospital room watched as Lin Qian cried, allowing her to vent her anger. But a little while later, Tongning received a phone call from Long Jia. What happened? The public is in an uproar right now. They're saying that you tore your artist apart in public. What did Xia Hanmo do? What exactly happened? As it involved PR, Tongning explained the entire incident to Long Jia. As soon as the short-tempered Long Jia heard the entire story, she immediately scolded. Well done. I never thought that Xia Hanmo couldn't tell right from wrong. Zhou Qing is a shrewd person, but Superstar Media has always followed the truth. Investigate the entire matter and collect evidence. Collect the cause and effect. Don't forget to give Xia Hanmo the contract termination letter. Even if Zhou Qing manages to settle this incident, I can guarantee that the television station will still come after him for revenge. Understood. Long Jia nodded. After making the phone call, Tongning returned to the hospital room. By this time, Lin Qian had already calmed down and stopped crying. Tongning walked over and pulled Lin Qian out of Li Jin's arms and hugged her. You've suffered. I won't let this matter pass. But Zhou Qing is scary. No matter how terrifying he is, he still has his flaws. Even if he doesn't expose them now, they will one day be exposed. Go home and recover first. Leave the rest to us to handle. I will make you pay for everything you've been through. Lin Qian nodded her head and hugged Tongning tightly. She buried her head in Tongning's neck and let out a loud sob. That night, Xia Hanmo felt like she was in a dream, a very surreal dream. Tongning had announced in front of everyone that she wanted to cancel her contract. It turned out, in Tongning's heart, she was merely a chess piece that could be easily thrown away. She still thought how important she was. Hanmo, are you alright? Zhou Qing comforted her with a guilty look on his face. I'm sorry, I dragged you into this and caused such a huge misunderstanding between you and Superstar Media. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. It seems like I'm going to ruin your next program again. Be a good girl, Hanmo. Draw a line between us and apologize to Tongning. Zhou Qing sighed. Don't give up on your life because of me. Hearing this, Xia Hanmo turned around and held onto Zhou Qing's face as tears rolled down her cheeks. I can go back and apologize to Tongning, but I will never break up with you. You are such a good person, and I don't want to give up on you so easily. I'm going back to apologize because I don't want Tongning to deal with you. You know that she's too scary. There's nothing in this world that she can't do. Hanmo, I'm sorry. Zhou Qing hugged Xia Hanmo tightly in his embrace. I won't let you down. I promise. Xia Hanmo truly felt wronged. She didn't think that she had done anything wrong. Zhou Qing was such a good person, so why did even Tongning misunderstand him? Lin Qian must have tried to sow discord in front of Tongning, and that's why Tongning hated Zhou Qing so much. How could Lin Qian sentence Zhou Qing to death after hearing a simple phone call? However, Xia Hanmo had no idea that the phone call was only the beginning. From that moment onwards, Zhou Qing's every action was proving to Tongning and Lin Qian what kind of person he was. Xia Hanmo didn't want to return to Superstar Media to apologize, but from the looks of it, it seemed she had to make a sacrifice in exchange for their future. At least, that was what she thought. Otherwise, Zhou Qing's newly established career would be ruined once again. That night, the industry was in an uproar because Tongning tore apart her own artist. How ruthless did Tongning have to be to actually tear apart her own artist? According to a friend, Lin Qian was bitten by a dog. But when Xia Hanmo moved to another location, she didn't even contact her manager. That's why Tongning showed up and slapped Xia Hanmo across the face. But why did Zhou Qing get involved? That's right. Tongning obviously threatened Zhou Qing last night. What exactly happened between the two of them? I'm so curious. The newspapers, the media, and the internet were all filled with news of Tongning tearing apart her own artist. Although outsiders had no idea why, they had a feeling that it was going to be another amazing show. After seeing the news, Xia Hanmo realized how ruthless Tongning was the night before, so she felt even more wronged. For the sake of their future, Xia Hanmo went to Superstar Media's office. But Tongning didn't have the patience to see her, so she handed the matter to Longjie to handle. As soon as Longjie saw Xia Hanmo, she wanted to slap her across the face to wake her up, especially when she thought about Lin Qian's injuries. In the end, she held back and handed Xia Hanmo a contract. Have a look. This is the contract cancellation contract. Longjie, can you let me see Tongning? Even if she wants to cancel my contract, she needs to convince me. If she believes that there's something wrong with Zhou Qing simply because of Lin Qian's side of the story, then she's being too careless. Longjie looked at Xia Hanmo. At that moment, she felt that the Xia Hanmo that came to Tongning's office begging her to clear her name had disappeared. The Xia Hanmo in front of her now had the word love written all over her face. She had already lost the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. I thought you would at least ask about Lin Qian's injuries. After all, Lin Qian has done so much for you. Longjie sneered. Longjie sneered. I bet you've already forgotten that Lin Qian almost died at the kennel last night. Why did she get injured? Because someone said you were missing and she was worried about you. She was worried about you, so she chased after you and ended up getting bitten by a dog. But what about you? Zhou Qing? Would Zhou Qing risk his life to save you? Do you think I'm wrong for calling you ungrateful? After hearing Longjie's words, Xia Hanmo froze. Chapter 9:15. Longjie, I know I'm going a little overboard with what I'm saying, but I honestly just want to see Tongning. Longjie knew it was pointless to say anything to Xia Hanmo because her heart was already with Zhou Qing. She simply felt like everyone had misunderstood her and Zhou Qing. Longjie lowered her head and thought for a moment. In the end, she gave Tongning a phone call. Xia Hanmo wants to see you. If possible, I also want to see Lin Qian. At this moment, all Xia Hanmo could think of was to clear Zhou Qing's name. She wanted to tell everyone that Lin Qian was the one who had caused all of this. She wanted to tell everyone that Lin Qian had set everything up from the beginning. Perhaps, this was what they meant by, the observer sees the game more clearly than the observer. Afterwards, Tongning agreed to see Xia Hanmo. The couple looked at each other again, but they were no longer like they were before. There was no emotion in their eyes. What else do we have to talk about? Tongning asked as she sat in her chair. I've already said everything I need to say last night. I want you to give me a chance. I want to prove that Zhou Qing is innocent, and that Lin Qian is slandering him. Hearing this, Tongning looked at Xia Hanmo coldly. Why would Lin Qian slander Zhou Qing? Because she thinks I can't be controlled. When you say this, ask yourself, do you believe it? Tongning asked Xia Hanmo patiently. You know that Lin Qian has no reason to slander Zhou Qing, but you don't want to believe it. There are so many suspicious things going on, but you don't want to face it. You trust Zhou Qing, yet you point the sword at your own people. Because of you, Lin Qian has been in so much pain that she's still in the hospital. I'm sure you know what kind of person she is. But for the sake of your lover, you would rather fabricate lies to slander Lin Qian than believe her words. Because in front of you, Zhou Qing is perfect. No, you don't need to deny it, Xia Hanmo. I'll just pretend that Lin Qian fed her good intentions last night to the dogs. From today onwards, you no longer need to have anything to do with Superstar Media. After speaking, Tongning lowered her head. Get out. What do I have to do to make you believe that Zhou Qing is innocent? In that case, what do I have to do for you to believe that Zhou Qing has actually hurt someone? Tongning, I know you're powerful. With you around, Zhou Qing and I won't be able to survive in the industry. If you really want revenge, then come at me. Don't target Zhou Qing. He didn't do anything wrong. After hearing Xia Hanmo's words, Tongning let out a laugh. When it comes to people outside of Superstar Media, I always do things according to the rules. As long as someone tries to use Superstar Media to achieve their own goals, I will destroy their reputation. If they borrow Superstar Media's name, they will return the favor. As for you, I have nothing more to say. Since I've torn you apart with my own hands, there's no reason for me to get involved with you again. By the way, the more righteous you are in front of me today, the more you will regret it one day in the future. Since you're so generous, You can definitely find another way to help Zhou Qing. Don't ever step into superstar media again. After speaking, Tongning called the security guards on the phone. Tongning, are you really that heartless? You've never seen how heartless I am. After speaking, she instructed the security guards to chase Xia Hanmo out of superstar media's territory. But even at this moment, Xia Hanmo still couldn't understand why Tongning didn't give her a chance. She had no idea where she went wrong. But it didn't matter. Tongning wasn't in a rush and Lin Qian wasn't going to waste her time on someone like that. After all, one day, Zhou Qing was going to help them teach Xia Hanmo a lesson. As long as Xia Hanmo was no longer useful to them, would Zhou Qing still be loyal to her? Tongning refused to believe it. Afterwards, Xinglan and Luo Sheng visited Lin Qian at the hospital. Thinking about how close Xinglan and Lin Qian were, Xinglan was so angry that she wanted to bite Lin Qian. I never thought that Xia Hanmo would betray superstar media for the sake of a man. You're no longer a part of superstar media, Lin Qian reminded with a smile. How am I not? I'm a part of superstar media when I'm alive and I'll be a ghost when I die, Xinglan scoffed. I'm waiting for the day that slut is abandoned. When that time comes, she'll know who's loyal and who's a traitor. It doesn't matter. Although it still hurt to think about it. She wasn't going to be soft-hearted when it was time to let it go. As for that Zhou Qing, I never expected him to have such a good reputation. I can't believe he's actually a hypocrite. He sure has hidden himself well. What do the public think? Lin Qian was currently concerned about the public's reaction. She was afraid that Tongning would cause another storm because of her. What else can they think? They're probably curious and want to watch a show. Everyone wants to know why Tongning tore her own artist apart. After hearing Xinglan's words, Lin Qian lowered her head. She would never forget Tongning's reaction the night before. Xia Hanmo now has nothing. I'm curious to see how Zhou Qing plans to use her. Although the situation was out of Zhou Qing's control, it wasn't as bad as the public imagined. Otherwise, wouldn't all his years of pretending to be a good old man have gone to waste? While Xia Hanmo was at Superstar Media, Zhou Qing headed straight to the hospital and personally stood in front of the station manager's son. He appeared to be pleading for peace, but in reality, what? You just jumped ship to your enemy and you're already here to plead for mercy? I know who hurt your hand, Zhou Qing said calmly as he looked at the station manager's son's hand. Zhou Qing looked at the station manager's hand and said calmly, I'm here today to return a favor to your father. The station manager's son looked at his crippled hand and suddenly became emotional. Tell me who did it. It's someone from Superstar Media. I'm here today because I want you to let Hanmo off. After all, because of this incident, she and Superstar Media have already fallen out. Tongning wants to frame me, but Hanmo doesn't agree. That's why the conflict last night happened. The station manager's son looked deeply into Zhou Qing's eyes as he grabbed onto his shirt and threatened, if I find out that you've lied to me today, I will chop you in half. Since Superstar Media is going to frame me anyway, you can chop me in half right now, Zhou Qing sneered. Zhou Qing sneered. Think about it, there was an actress that passed away because of Tongning. Haven't you heard about how vicious she is? The station manager's son thought for a moment and still felt that there were too many suspicious points. Why did Superstar Media hire someone to hurt me? Chapter 916. For Xia Hanmo's sake, as long as you can't host the big adventure, our show will temporarily have no competition, Zhou Qing explained. Did Xia Hanmo know about this beforehand? No. Otherwise, Hanmo wouldn't have fallen out with Superstar Media because of me. She was also surprised by Superstar Media's actions. Zhou Qing replied with a sincere and convincing look. The station manager's son thought for a moment before he laughed. I never expected this. I thought I was already the most arrogant person in the world, but Tongning was even more arrogant than me. Interesting. After this incident, Superstar Media will definitely come up with a complete PR plan to push all the blame onto me. Originally, no one discovered my plan, but Hanmo accidentally found out. Plus, she's too kind. How could Superstar Media sacrifice their own people? So they had no choice but to sacrifice me. But as long as Hanmo is safe, it doesn't matter. On the surface, Zhou Qing appeared very righteous. It seemed he was simply trying to protect his woman and plead for her. But what was the truth? He was trying to draw the blame onto Tongning because he wanted to see her and the station manager's son fight. I can let Xia Hanmo go, and I can let you go. As long as Tongning uses PR and uses you as a scapegoat, I will definitely make her wish she was dead. Besides, who said that you have nowhere else to go? You can always come back. After all, I can't host the big adventure right now. How could I let my opponent take advantage of me? Zhou Qing's gaze deepened as his expression darkened. I'm no longer suitable, but Hanmo still has potential. I can be her right-hand man. Whatever you want. Either way, now that the station manager's son had found his enemy, he placed all his focus on Tongning. As long as Superstar Media made a move, it would prove that Zhou Qing was telling the truth. Zhou Qing's trap was killing two birds with one stone. Not only did it protect his and Xia Hanmo's future, it also successfully diverted the danger away from them. All Tongning had to do was reveal the truth. The public were extremely curious about this matter. All sorts of speculations began to emerge from the mouths of netizens. Rumors say that Lin Qian and Xia Hanmo both like Zhou Qing, but Xia Hanmo set Lin Qian up, so Superstar Media got angry. But I heard that Xia Hanmo and Lin Qian got into a fight and Lin Qian got hurt because of Xia Hanmo. So in a fit of anger, Tongning tore her own artist apart. But no matter what, Superstar Media had yet to make a statement. It seemed, Tongning simply told Long Jie to collect evidence, but she had no intention of announcing it to the public. There were 3 reasons for this. Firstly, Superstar Media didn't need to give an explanation for dealing with someone. After all, they had paid the full amount of compensation. Secondly, Zhou Qing's incident wasn't confirmed. So Tongning wasn't as stupid as Zhou Qing thought she would be. She wasn't going to reveal everything to the public and allow others to slap her in the face. Thirdly, because of her silence, the public feared Xia Hanmo even more. If anyone dared to use someone that Tongning had torn apart, they would be waiting to be destroyed. In other words, the reaction that Zhou Qing hoped for, Tongning did not do as he wished. Of course, the Crown Prince was also there, so Tongning was going to see him. As for who the Crown Prince would believe, that would depend on Tongning's persuasion. After looking for the station manager's son, Zhou Qing headed straight for Xia Hanmo's home. Zhouge, I didn't manage to reach an agreement with Superstar Media. I feel useless. How could you be useless? As long as you trust me, you are the kindest angel in the world. Zhou Qing comforted as he held Xia Hanmo's face in his hands. Don't worry, to prove that I didn't do it, I went to look for the station manager's son, and he was willing to trust me. In fact, he even invited us back to the television station to continue supporting the big adventure. Are you telling the truth? Xia Hanmo asked as she stopped crying. Of course. After all, the television station won't be using us anymore, so we can just go back. But isn't it a bit inappropriate for us to jump around like this? Idiot, as long as we go back, everyone will think that the television station is righteous and forgave us during our most difficult time. That's a happy ending. Zhou Qing had long understood the human heart. In fact, his understanding was no less than Tongning's. So everyone was filled with anticipation for the 2 men's battle. It seemed Zhou Qing was a step ahead of Tongning. Did this mean that Tongning was going to suffer in silence? That's good, that's good. Xia Hanmo felt that she didn't trust Zhou Qing incorrectly. She simply felt that she must have been blind to have asked Tongning to clear her name. Luckily, Zhouge, I met you. Otherwise, I would have been sold by Superstar Media sooner or later. Idiot, things will get better between us in the future. Don't worry. Zhou Qing held on to Xia Hanmo tightly, because she had a lot of things that he could use to his advantage. Most importantly, he felt that this little brat was too easy to trick. He couldn't wait to see how many secrets Superstar Media would reveal to him in the future. Meanwhile, at Superstar Media's office, Long Jie had an appointment with the station manager's son. Just as she was about to tell Tongning the time, Mo Ting suddenly appeared in the office and Tongning was resting on his lap. What's up? Boss, what do you think of Zhou Qing's matter? Long Jie wanted to know what Mo Ting thought. Zhou Qing was too difficult to see through. He wasn't like any of his usual opponents. Zhou Qing stole Xia Hanmo because he thought he could find out about superstar media's secrets from her. Even if he didn't get what he wanted, at least he managed to steal her away. But right now no one dares to use them, says who? Emoting asked calmly. Zhou Qing can go back and look for his previous employer. I don't quite understand. Xia Hanmo came from superstar media and is a hot topic. As long as he creates a little hype, he will be able to achieve unexpected results. So as long as he holds on to Xia Hanmo and uses her, the things that happened to him in the past will never happen again, Emoting explained. After all, he has the ability to do so. At this time, if his previous employer accepts him, it would mean that they are loyal to each other. After all, it's a win-win situation. But the station manager's hand. Without evidence, Zhou Qing can make up another story, Emoting said. That's why, if we want to completely overthrow Zhou Qing, apart from finding evidence, there's only one way. This was the first time Long Jie had heard Emoting analyze so much. We'll wait for Xia Hanmo to find out and wake her up. Chapter 9:17. Xia Hanmo can still be saved? It wasn't easy for her to clear her name. She deserved to be slandered in the past. Long Jie would never forget that Lin Qian had done so much for her, only to be misunderstood by Xia Hanmo and slandered the man she loved. Thinking of this, Long Jie was furious. She was tempted to grab Xia Hanmo and give her a few slaps across the face. Ning said that the more she perseveres today, the more she will regret in the future. Boss, I've arranged a meeting with the station manager's son. The time is set for 7 p.m. tomorrow. Tell Lu Che that I want to see the station manager. Tell him not to tell anyone and keep this a secret. Emoting said as he patted Tongning on the head. No matter how good Zhou Qing was at playing, he was still a hopping grasshopper. Did he think that his step-by-step plan would work? He could play in shallow waters, but he couldn't enter deep waters. As soon as Long Jie heard that Emoting was going to make a move, she couldn't help but laugh. This meant that even if Zhou Qing won the station manager's son's trust, he wouldn't be able to escape Emoting's palm no matter what he wanted to do. He wasn't as important as he thought he was. At least, to the industry, Zhou Qing was merely a low-level player. Tongning's meeting with the station manager's son was naturally not going to be kept a secret from Zhou Qing. On the surface, he did trust Zhou Qing, but he also wanted to know what Tongning had to say. Since Tongning wants to see you, it means she's not going to back down with me and Hanmo. She's trying to kill us all. Xia Hanmo is no longer under her control. Since you guys are coming back, if she wants to hurt you, she will need to get my permission first, right? In reality, the station manager's son was actually more interested in watching Tongning and Zhou Qing fight. But even so, it couldn't alleviate the pain of losing his right hand. Zhou Qing did not say a word as he looked at the station manager's son. How about this? When I meet with Tongning tomorrow, you and Xia Hanmo can hide in the waiting room. If Tongning dares to slander you, you can come out and testify against her. Zhou Qing looked at the station manager's son. He knew that the station manager's son was doing this because he didn't trust him completely. So he shook his head. Since the crown prince has already said so, I will definitely believe you. Hanmo and I will wait for your news at home. The station manager's lips curved upwards as he sneered. Especially after seeing Zhou Qing's expression. He was even more excited to see Tongning tomorrow. Tongning did not know that Emoting wanted to see the station head. In fact, Lu Che had already arranged everything before her meeting with the crown prince. However, the old station manager did not know the purpose of Emoting's visit. He was confused as to why Emoting would want to meet him. I wonder why President Emo wants to meet with me. For some unspeakable things. Emoting sat opposite the station head. In front of them was a cup of fragrant tea. Old station head, do you know who broke your son's arm? The old station master pondered for a moment before shaking his head. This brat has a flamboyant personality and has made many enemies. Zhou Qing. Emoting gave the old man the answer, and explained everything that had happened between Zhou Qing and Superstar Media to him. President Emo, do you have any evidence? I am the almighty CEO of Hairue. What reason do I have to slander him? Emoting looked at the station head coldly. My motive is simple. He made my wife unhappy for a moment, so I want him to suffer for the rest of his life. I'm sure you understand what I mean. The station head was a smart man. If he could use this to gain a lot of cooperation from Hairue, he wouldn't be stupid enough to protect someone that had hurt his son and was so scheming. President Mo, what do you want to do? Since Zhou Qing wants to return to the television station, then let him. But he can never dream of hosting a top-tier show again. Let him go wherever he's in trouble. Let him deal with any trouble. In short, I want him to suffer every single day. Most importantly, I want this matter to be flawless. I want no one to notice anything amiss. After hearing Emoting's words, the station head nodded his head. Everyone said that the CEO of Hairue was cold-blooded and ruthless. But after seeing him for himself today, he realized that he lived up to his reputation. If Zhou Qing made Tongning suffer, it was equivalent to making Emoting suffer. Don't worry, President Mo. I'll pretend that I don't know how they fight in private. But I'll make sure to make the necessary arrangements. I'll wait for your good news. If Zhou Qing wanted to make a name for himself in the entertainment industry, he needed to first see if he had enough chips in his hands. Perhaps he thought he had set up a well-thought plan. But he had no idea that he was merely an ornament for high-level players. Even if he won against Tongning and everything, returned to his original position and used Xia Hanmo, he would never be able to make a comeback. 7 p.m. the next day, Tongning arranged to meet at a restaurant. Inside the private room, the station manager's son brought along 2 bodyguards. Meanwhile, Tongning brought along Longjie and 2 bodyguards. Is this my honor? I can't believe I get to meet the legendary Tongning. You sure are giving me a lot of face. Tongning looked at the station manager's son and asked, Did Zhou Qing come looking for you? You're indeed a smart person. You managed to make things interesting with one sentence. I'm sure you can guess what he said to me. The station manager's son said as he looked at his broken right hand. The station manager asked as he looked at his crippled right hand. I would like to know, Miss Tang, what evidence do you have to convince me? After all, Zhou Qing's story is already very interesting. Can you come up with something even more interesting? Tongning laughed before she replied. Firstly, I'm not here to explain myself or gain your trust. You need to understand that with my status, there's no need for me to lower myself to make things difficult for you. Secondly, Zhou Qing and Xia Hanmo are stray dogs, but I'm sorry I'm not. Thirdly, you don't fully trust Zhou Qing because you know how trustworthy his words are. You simply summon him back to your own territory, so that you can humiliate and get revenge on him. He wants to fight back, but you want to conquer him. You need to tell him that there are some things that can't be reversed. He can't win against anyone. After hearing Tongning's words, the station manager's son finally realized that Tongning was indeed Tongning. Haven't you always liked justice? Haven't you always liked to help those that have been treated unfairly? What's wrong? Are you starting to learn how to bully others? Tongning lowered her head. After quite some time, she finally replied, I'm different from you. If someone bullies me, I will only bully them back. I never take the initiative. Chapter 918. Of course, since someone dares to bully me, I will let him know the consequences of his actions at all costs. Aren't you afraid that you'll also pay the price? If he's going to die, let him die first. I understand what you mean. It's a pleasure working with you. The young master extended his left hand. Throughout the entire conversation, Longjie was dumbfounded. It turned out, there was actually a way to negotiate like this. In fact, the two of them had already understood each other's intentions during their negotiation. Tongning had made it clear that she wouldn't cause trouble. This was the same as how she dealt with the outside world. So compared to Zhou Qing, the station manager's son trusted Tongning more. On the surface, he appeared to be brainless, but compared to Zhou Qing, he came from a prestigious background. Because of this pride, he was more willing to play around with Zhou Qing. So what is the crown prince trying to do? I didn't understand a word of your conversation, Longjie asked on the way home. So, who does he trust? Just wait for the show. No matter who the station manager trusts, he will definitely torture Zhou Qing first. At that time, He obviously won't make an enemy out of me. Otherwise, he would simply be digging his own grave. Does that mean Zhou Qing is in trouble? That's about it. In reality, Zhou Qing didn't have much confidence in the station manager's abilities. But he firmly believed that his plan would earn the station manager's trust. Indeed, after seeing Tongning, the young master simply scolded her for acting. As expected, that woman pushed everything onto you. She wanted me to deal with you, but I refused to do so, the young master said to Zhou Qing. Bring your woman home. I want Tongning to suffer. Zhou Qing smirked, thinking that his plan had worked. Don't worry, with Xia Hanmo by my side, I'm confident that the big adventure will reach new heights. Do your best. The station manager's son did not agree to anything. He simply smiled and patted Zhou Qing on the shoulder. From the looks of it, the two men had resolved their grudges with a smile. But in a place that Zhou Qing couldn't see, the station manager's son sneered. Are you still thinking of a grand plan? Brother Zhou, did Prince really let us go back to the TV station? I won't be banned? Xia Hanmo thought that with Tongning's power, no one would dare to offend her. However, he didn't expect that there would always be a way out. Little fool, of course you can. Zhou Qing hugged Xia Hanmo. I told you, I won't let anything happen to you. From now on, we will become even more famous. Xia Hanmo believed in Zhou Qing. She had always believed in him. Even though she ended up hurting Lin Qian, she didn't care. In fact, she hated Lin Qian to this very day because she still believed that Lin Qian had single-handedly planned everything. Our new life is about to begin. He had schemed against Tongning, schemed against the station manager's son, kidnapped Xia Hanmo and injured Lin Qian. Yet he still wanted to start a new life? Isn't this a little too whimsical? Afterwards, Tongning released an announcement on behalf of Superstar Media. She announced that she and Xia Hanmo had officially parted ways due to differences in their values. Even if the outside world made wild guesses, she did not intend to give them an answer. After all, Xia Hanmo was no longer worth her time. From now on, this person had completely disappeared from Superstar Media's blueprint. Without Superstar Media's protection, Xia Hanmo was about to experience the taste of a storm. She thought she had made a great decision, but this was the beginning of a road of regret. A few days later, Lin Qian was discharged from the hospital. Tongning personally went to pick her up. But because Li Jin protected her the entire time, she couldn't help but tease. From the looks of it, I won't be able to keep you. You're going to get married sooner or later. I won't leave you. I am also a part of Superstar Media. Lin Qian quickly expressed her determination. Okay, go home and rest for a few days. There are more important tasks waiting for you. Tongning patted Lin Qian on the shoulder and gestured for Li Jin to take good care of her. Li Jin left the hospital with Lin Qian. This time, he directly drove Lin Qian back to his parents' home. Lin Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Motherly was ecstatic. After all, Lin Qian was going to be her daughter-in-law sooner or later. Especially after hearing about how Lin Qian was bitten while trying to save someone. She felt that Lin Qian was loyal and a good girl. So as long as Lin Qian was willing, she would prepare a room for her at any time. Qian, Li Jin is always away from home for half a month. Just treat it like you're keeping us company on his behalf. Motherly said to the worried Lin Qian. But I know you're worried that you won't be officially recognized. I heard from Li Jin that he's already submitted a report and is just waiting for you to agree. As long as you agree, you can be our daughter-in-law at any time. But I work in the entertainment industry. That's not a problem, Motherly said as she patted Lin Qian on the back of her hand. We've done everything right and have a clear conscience, right? Plus, Auntie is still waiting for you to help me get an autograph from a celebrity. Lin Qian. Perhaps all the trials and tribulations that the heavens had given her were all experiments to tell her that the best things would always be left for the last. After going through so much pain, Lin Qian felt that she was extremely lucky to have met Li Jin and the Li family. Let's go. Auntie will show you your room. The main reason why Li Jin wanted to take Lin Qian home was because he didn't want to see her get hurt again. Xia Hanmo owed Lin Qian something, so he was waiting for her to get it back. It didn't take long before news spread throughout the industry that Zhou Qing and Xia Hanmo had returned to his previous employer. After Superstar Media fell out with them, no one dared to hire Xia Hanmo anymore. His former employer was a righteous and compassionate person, so he received the support of Zhou Qing's fans. Zhou Qing thought that he had been resurrected from the dead. So when he returned to the television station, he was glowing and full of hope. He thought that with the station manager's son injured, the big adventure would still need him to lead it. So no matter what, the station would definitely return him to his former position. So when he received news that the station was holding a meeting, Zhou Qing felt that his opportunity had arrived. So he tidied up his things with Xia Hanmo and headed to the television station together. Don't worry, this used to be my territory. From now on, it will still be my territory. As long as you're on my territory, no one will bully you. But the truth was, when his former subordinates saw Zhou Qing again, they weren't as friendly as he expected. In the past, everyone in the television station would greet him as Zhou Gu, but now, no one respected him. No, the show had only just begun. Chapter 919. The meeting at the station was about making adjustments to the program based on the recent events that had happened. Of course, the arrangements for the big adventure were involved, so Zhou Qing was well prepared. He had already thought of how he was going to explain that he had jumped ship to a rival agency after returning to the program. He was confident that he could handle everything beautifully. Perhaps, everyone else also assumed that the big adventure would eventually be handed back to him. But when it came to finding someone to support the program, the station manager did not even look at Zhou Qing as he said to the host of another program. You previously had experience hosting the big adventure. We need you right now. After hearing the station manager's words, everyone was surprised. Practically, everyone turned to look at Zhou Qing. Why was this different from what they expected? Most importantly, during the entire meeting, the station manager did not mention Zhou Qing or Xia Hanmo at all. It was like they didn't even exist. Zhou Qing did not show it on his face, but deep down, he knew that the old man was deliberately causing trouble for him. That's why he was humiliating him in front of everyone. I don't think it's appropriate for me to do this in front of Zhou Gu, the man said as he looked at the station manager. Zhou Qing, I have other plans, the station manager replied with a smile. Since that's the case, then I'll take on this responsibility. Everyone thought that the station manager would give Zhou Qing a better plan than the big adventure. But after discussing the big adventure, the station manager said to Zhou Qing, after the meeting, stay here. I have something to say to you in private. Soon, the meeting came to an end, and everyone stood up to leave. Only Zhou Qing and Xia Hanmo remained in the meeting room as they waited for the station manager's arrangements. Zhou Qing, Xiaoying has been lacking a helper lately. I think Xia Hanmo is a suitable candidate. Let her go, the station manager said. Zhou Qing did not say a word. Meanwhile, Xia Hanmo had no idea what she was being arranged to do. As for you, you've already gone to a rival's territory, so it's not appropriate for you to come back and take over the big adventure. So at a time like this, you should focus on something else and wait for the right time. Once the storm has passed, I will hand the big adventure back to you. Tao Tao is pregnant and has applied for maternity leave. So, you can temporarily take over her duties. Station manager, are you asking me to run some news? Zhou Qing understood what the old station manager was trying to say. Right now the situation outside is very tense. Right now it's only temporary inconvenience for you guys. Zhou Qing did not nod, nor did he shake his head. Although his expression was the same as usual, Xia Hanmo could sense that the atmosphere in the room was a little strange. I still have other matters to attend to. Think about it carefully and go report. With that, the station manager turned around and left. After they left, Xia Hanmo grabbed onto Zhou Qing's arm and asked, Who is Xiaoying? A radio host. Her content is Midnight Love Talk. That was the most unpresentable place in the station. The old station head had actually asked Xia Hanmo to act coy in the radio station. As for him, he was not much better. A dignified A-list host was actually called to run news. Brother Zhou, Let's endure it for a few days first, Zhou Qing replied. He had thought that his return would be even more glorious, but he had never imagined that this would be the result. As Zhou Qing and Xia Hanmo left the room, the other colleagues pointed at them. These two were so confident when they first left. But look at what happened in the end. From what I can see, Zhou Gu is indeed the big brother of the variety industry. But he made a mistake by challenging the station manager's authority. He misjudged his position. I never thought that he would be sent to run news. Life sure is full of ups and downs. Zhou Qing did not say a word as he listened to the discussions. But Xia Hanmo couldn't stand it any longer. She originally wanted to stick up for Zhou Qing, but Zhou Qing held onto her shoulder firmly. Let's talk at home. Zhou Gu, you've been implicated because of me. Xia Hanmo still felt that Zhou Qing's current situation was all because of her issues with Superstar Media. The difference was too big, so Zhou Qing needed to re-accept everything. So he even gave the station manager a phone call. As soon as the station manager heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. Haha, Zhou Qing, you're too naive. Did you think that after returning to the enemy's camp, the insiders would accept you? It's already good enough that you have news running errands for you. Yet you're still thinking about the big adventure? After hearing this, Zhou Qing clenched his fists tightly. I only agreed to come back because of you. Zhou Qing, I think you've made a mistake. You were the one who begged me to give you and your woman a way out. That's why I allowed you to return to the television station. Is your current position not suitable for you? You need to think this through. The person you've offended is Tongning. Don't tell me you really think that you have a way out? Zhou Qing was so angry that he threw his phone on the floor. Xia Hanmo was shocked. She had never seen Zhou Qing like this before. Zhou Qing was so irritable. After all, no matter what he did, he always looked elegant. So Xia Hanmo's heart began to race. What did the station manager say? You will report to the radio station tomorrow. Don't worry, leave everything to me. Zhou Qing concealed his anger, but he did not comfort Xia Hanmo. It turned out, he had simply been played by the station manager's son. So late that night, after Xia Hanmo fell asleep, Zhou Qing directly headed to the hospital to negotiate with the station manager's son. I've already told you the truth. Why can't you give me a way out? How did I not give you a way out? Could it be that I'm forcing you to die by not giving you the role of host for The Big Adventure? You obviously know how important The Big Adventure is to me. Tongning broke your arm, yet instead of getting even with her, you're venting your anger on me. What's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of this? You're not even worth a fart. The station manager's son replied. Whether I look for Tongning or not is my business. It's completely different from how I treat you. Zhou Qing glared at the station manager's son with hatred in his eyes. Do you hate me? Hit me then. I only have one arm anyway. Zhou Qing clenched his fists. He hated the station manager's son's arrogance, but there was nothing he could do. In the end, he had no choice but to return home. Xia Hanmo immediately ran up to him. Zhou Gu. But Zhou Qing pushed her away. Originally, he thought he had picked up a treasure, but it turned out to be useless. Xia Hanmo was stunned by Zhou Qing's action as she stood rooted to the ground, unable to move. I'm too tired today. Let's talk tomorrow. Chapter 920. Zhou Qing was currently in a situation where the television station was clearly toying with him. But there was nothing he could do. After all, he had already offended Tongning and had nowhere else to go. Xia Hanmo wanted to help Zhou Qing, but when she pulled out her phone, she couldn't find anyone to ask for help. Superstar Media had originally given her everything, but now, everything had returned to how it used to be. It turned out, after leaving Superstar Media, she was nothing. So all she could do was watch as Zhou Qing closed his door and wallowed in his own sadness. With this thought, Xia Hanmo felt like she had to do something for Zhou Qing. So the next day, she barged into the station manager's office. The station manager's secretary couldn't stop her, so the station manager asked her to leave. I want to know why the station manager must torture Zhou Qing. He hasn't done anything wrong. Plus, he's so talented that he shouldn't be buried in the news. Xia Hanmo, since you've entered this office, You will have to face the consequences today. I'm sure you know that. The station manager put down the pen in his hand and looked at Xia Hanmo. The station manager put down the pen in his hand and looked at Xia Hanmo. Let me be honest with you. You and Zhou Qing think too highly of yourselves. There's nothing in this world that should be taken for granted. What you think Zhou Qing should do is your opinion, but that is only your personal opinion. Just because you think he's not wrong doesn't mean he's not wrong. Get lost. Based on what you've done today, Zhou Qing is going to become a laughingstock. Plus, since you don't want to be a radio host, we won't keep you in our small temple. Go back to where you came from. It didn't take long before everyone found out about Xia Hanmo's actions at the radio station. Of course, this included Zhou Qing. As soon as Zhou Qing heard about it, his face turned red in embarrassment. Why did Xia Hanmo always act on impulse? So, as soon as Xia Hanmo returned home, Zhou Qing threw a slap across her face without a second thought. Look at what you've done. Everyone in the station's chat group was talking about the incident and laughing at how Zhou Qing ended up in this state. Xia Hanmo was dumbfounded. She never expected that Zhou Qing would hit her. But after hitting her, he remained calm as he sat on the sofa and casually flipped through the news. You hit me. Yes, I'm hitting you. Can't you behave yourself and not cause trouble for me? I'm already a mess. Zhou Qing said coldly. I've already come this far, yet I'm still a laughingstock. Do you think life isn't exciting enough? Xia Hanmo, I'm begging you. Just stay at home and don't do anything. That's the biggest help you can give me. Xia Hanmo understood how Zhou Qing felt, so she did not blame him for the slap. She simply felt that she was too stupid. However, taking action was only the beginning. Recently, I've heard a lot of jokes about Xia Hanmo. Do you want to listen? In order to coax Lin Qian, Long Jia shared all the gossip she had heard. Speaking of which, after Zhou Qing and Xia Hanmo returned to a certain television station, one of them was assigned to cover the news, and the other was assigned to be a coquettish radio host. Hearing this, Lin Qian asked Long Jia to stop. I don't want to hear anything about this person anymore. You. Long Jia sighed and shook her head. You can't be like Tang Ning and I. You should be happy when you see your enemy get their retribution. I don't want to waste my time on someone like that, Lin Qian replied. Long Jia nodded her head and did not force Lin Qian. She understood Lin Qian's personality. Everything else isn't important. But you need to remember one thing. You are still a manager at Superstar Media. You need to be arrogant. If one day you come across Xia Hanmo, you need to tell her that you didn't want anything. Okay. Lin Qian nodded her head again. Tang Ning had previously said that she would directly remove Xia Hanmo from Superstar Media. So whenever the public mentioned Xia Hanmo and mentioned that she had anything to do with Superstar Media immediately issued a warning. This person has nothing to do with Superstar Media. As for Zhou Qing, he was indeed smart, and he hid his abilities well. But he thought too highly of himself. He couldn't even get past Tang Ning and Mo Ting. Of course, the person that Tang Ning hated the most was not Zhou Qing, but Xia Hanmo. How much effort did Superstar Media put into Xia Hanmo? How much sincerity did Lin Qian put in for her? Yet for the sake of a man, Zhou Qing hurt Lin Qian so badly. Just the thought of it made Tang Ning feel angry. Although Lin Qian didn't care, she was going to make Xia Hanmo understand that she and Lin Qian were now people from two different worlds. Even though he was being toyed with, Zhou Qing still had to run the news because he had no other choice. Unless, he completely admitted defeat. But, how could he accept it now that things had gotten to this point? However, Xia Hanmo was useless. After leaving Superstar Media, she had no value at all. This was what hurt Zhou Qing the most. As a result, the relationship between the two was greatly affected. Zhou Qing began to ignore Xia Hanmo. Even at home, the two minded their own business and did not communicate at all. Xia Hanmo continued to endure because she felt guilty. However, the Zhou Qing in front of her was a complete stranger. If you're bored of looking at me, I can move out. You don't even have any value to sell right now. Zhou Qing laughed. Hanmo, tell me, what else can you help me with? Didn't you say it yourself? I'm the way I am now because of you. Hearing this, Xia Hanmo felt like her heart was about to break into pieces. I really want to help you. Zhou Qing lifted his head and looked at Xia Hanmo. After staring at her for a long time, he finally sneered. You said it yourself. Don't regret it when the time comes. I won't regret it, Xia Hanmo replied confidently. Zhou Qing did not say a word. To be exact, all he could think of was how to make the station manager and his son suffer. He had been suppressed so badly that everyone at the television station would mock him whenever they saw him. It seemed he couldn't survive in the industry any longer. But he didn't want to take a burden like Xia Hanmo with him. He was smart, so all he had to do was plan ahead, and he would have a successful career in another field. But he couldn't tolerate taking a stupid person like Xia Hanmo with him. So he was going to squeeze every last bit of value out of Xia Hanmo. This idiot still thought that it was Lin Qian's fault. For the sake of love, women could really lose their rationality. Chapter 921. The person I'm going to take you to see today is Mr. Liu of Dongxing Pictures. Recently, he's preparing to launch a new program, which might be helpful to us. If you can help me win Mr. Liu's support, then we still have a chance to make a comeback. Understand? After hearing Zhou Qing's words, Xia Hanmo secretly nodded her head. In order to win the battle, Xia Hanmo dressed up to the nines and did her best. Soon the two arrived at the hotel. As soon as they entered the VIP room, they saw a short and chubby man sitting at a round table. Xia Hanmo felt a little uncomfortable, but Zhou Qing still approached him. For some reason, Xia Hanmo felt that this Zhou Qing was a complete stranger. This was because President Liu's eyes were cloudy and his entire body exuded an oily aura. One glance was enough to tell that he wasn't a good person. Especially when he looked at Xia Hanmo, there was a trace of possessiveness in his eyes. This made Xia Hanmo even more afraid of this dinner. Come, Miss Xia, have a seat. Xia Hanmo sat down between Zhou Qing and President Liu. She subconsciously reached out her hand to hold onto Zhou Qing's arm, but Zhou Qing quickly pushed her away. Xia Hanmo froze. President Liu likes to drink. Hanmo, why don't you have a few drinks with him? Xia Hanmo looked at Zhou Qing in surprise. What did he think she was? Didn't you say that you would help me? I need you right now. Don't tell me you're going to go back on your word. Xia Hanmo clenched her fists, but in the end, she let it go. That's more like it. Who doesn't drink when they're out to have fun? Miss Xia, drink 3 glasses as punishment. President Liu directly poured Xia Hanmo 3 glasses of red wine. As he watched Xia Hanmo drink 3 glasses, he took the opportunity to touch her thigh. However, Xia Hanmo immediately stood up. What are you doing? Xiao Xia, why are you having such a big reaction? President Liu laughed. We're out to eat and drink. Why are you so excited? Xia Hanmo's face turned red as she sat down. But this time, President Liu went even further. He almost reached under her skirt. Xia Hanmo directly threw a glass of red wine at him. If you're so good, why don't you try touching me again? Seeing this, the man stood up and said to Xia Hanmo, Bitch, with your current status, I'm giving you face by sleeping with you. How dare you hit me? As soon as Xia Hanmo heard the word sleep with you, she froze. She turned around and looked at the expressionless Zhou Qing with disbelief written all over her face. Don't tell me you're so naive to think that you can get what you want without paying anything? If you were still a part of Superstar Media, I might have given you face. But now Superstar Media no longer acknowledges you. How dare you pretend to be innocent? Big Brother Liu, please don't get angry. Hanmo just didn't think it through. Please wait a moment. After speaking, Zhou Qing dragged Xia Hanmo into the bathroom and pushed her against the wall. Can't you handle a little alcohol? His hand is almost under my skirt, Xia Hanmo said angrily. Then just let him touch. Xia Hanmo's eyes grew big as she suddenly understood what Zhou Qing was trying to say. It turned out, this man was deliberately trying to sell her out. Why are you so different from the old Zhou Qing? Xia Hanmo couldn't help but ask. I don't care. You must help me secure this deal today. After arguing for a while, the two returned to the private room. At this time, President Liu calmed himself down and said to Xia Hanmo, Actually, I quite admire your character. How about this? As long as you drink 3 glasses of wine as punishment, I'll let this matter go. Xia Hanmo did not say a word as she held back her tears and drank another 3 glasses of wine. But this time, she wasn't so lucky as she directly fainted on the table. Even in her wildest dreams, Xia Hanmo never imagined that she would fall into such a deep trap. Especially the next morning, when she woke up in her hotel room, President Liu was tidying up his clothes. Xia Hanmo froze for a moment before she threw a crazy kick at President Liu. "You're worse than an animal." President Liu was in a good mood after being kicked. "This is an unspoken rule in the industry." "What? Don't pretend that you don't know. Zhou Qing personally handed you over to me." "That's impossible." Xia Hanmo refused to accept the truth. "That guy has always been like this. By the way, he was the one who hired someone to break the station manager's son's arm." After speaking, President Liu smiled at Xia Hanmo and left the hotel. Xia Hanmo wanted to chase after him, but she was completely naked for a long time. She couldn't accept the terrifying news. All she could do was return to her bed. But the bed reminded her of how dirty she was. "No, it's not like that." Xia Hanmo really didn't expect that she would actually hear the truth from Mr. Liu. "Ah!" Xia Hanmo screamed like a madwoman. "You've been in the hospital for so long, but you haven't eaten anything you like. Today, I'm taking you out to eat something good." Li Jin brought Lin Qian to a hotel. It seemed he noticed that she hadn't been talking much lately, so he decided to take her out for a walk. "I'm fine." Lin Qian appreciated Li Jin's thoughtfulness. Li Jin wrapped his arm around Lin Qian, and the couple entered the hotel together. But at this time, they ran into a familiar figure at the entrance. Lin Qian looked at Xia Hanmo and Xia Hanmo looked at Lin Qian. Xia Hanmo's tears almost rolled out of her eyes, but Lin Qian pretended not to recognize her as she turned around. "Lin Qian." Xia Hanmo mumbled. Lin Qian did not move. She wasn't hurt by the person that used to be her. But Lin Qian ran over and grabbed onto Lin Qian's hands. "About Zhou Qing. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. It's all my fault." However, Lin Qian simply said one word, "Let go." Xia Hanmo froze for a moment, but she did not move until Lin Qian added, "What? Are you regretting it? It's only been a few days. Do you still remember what Ningjie said?" Xia Hanmo took a step back as tears rolled down her cheeks. "That's right. I brought this upon myself. I did it for a man and a jerk." "Xia Hanmo, you choose your own path. Don't blame yourself for always meeting jerks. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not recognizing who they are. Although I don't know what you've been through, I don't like to add insult to injury. You and I have nothing to do with each other, so I hope you behave yourself." After speaking, Lin Qian switched seats with Li Jin and left Xia Hanmo sitting in the same spot. "Did you arrange this?" Lin Qian did not believe that it was a coincidence. How could it have happened at this particular hotel, and at this time? "My people found out that Zhou Qing sold Xia Hanmo out last night." Lin Qian didn't need to explain. But who could she blame? Chapter 922. Qian Qian. I won't pity someone that's hurt me. Plus, Xia Hanmo doesn't deserve any pity. She chose her own path, so she will bear the consequences herself. It has nothing to do with anyone else. After hearing Lin Qian's words, Li Jin relaxed. He was afraid that Lin Qian would still pity Xia Hanmo. But he was wrong. His Qian Qian wasn't soft bun. So Li Jin relaxed. "Let's order." Lin Qian nodded her head and quickly looked away. She then opened the menu in her hands. Xia Hanmo hailed a taxi to Zhou Qing's home. But when she arrived, she discovered that the key that Zhou Qing gave her previously couldn't be opened anymore. Zhou Qing had changed the locks and all of her belongings were in the nearby trash. Men sure were ruthless when they wanted to, but she couldn't blame anyone for this. After all, she had single-handedly caused all of this. This was her own choice. Xia Hanmo sat on the floor. All of a sudden, everything was gone. Previously, she had insisted that Lin Qian was the one that framed her. But now that she thought about it, she simply felt embarrassed. It turned out, she had been the one in the wrong the entire time. Haha, so she didn't blame Lin Qian for treating her like a stranger. After all, it was what she deserved. Lin Qian had been hurt so badly in the past, But the person she hated the most was the jerk, Zhou Qing. He had set up so many traps to trick her. Now that he was done using her, he kicked her away. Yet, all she could do was hide in a corner and cry. This was impossible. Did Zhou Qing want to use her to return to the top? This was impossible. She wanted Zhou Qing to pay her back tenfold. When a woman's heart was filled with this kind of hatred, her body became a terrifying weapon. Perhaps, Zhou Qing thought that Xia Hanmo, who had nothing to lose, could only fend for herself. But he was wrong. Xia Hanmo directly turned around to look for President Liu and said, "I can agree to be your mistress. But I have one request. I want Zhou Qing to suffer a fate worse than death." President Liu sat on the sofa smoking a cigar and smiled. "No problem, I don't have anything to lose. Plus, if you want, you can come to my agency and act in a film. I don't care about anything else. I simply want Zhou Qing to pay a painful price. You can think about it that way, because I've always been generous to women." He didn't expect Mo Ting and the station manager had spoken to each other beforehand. He didn't expect that Tang Ning had already planned everything. Above all, he didn't expect that Xia Hanmo would willingly become his mistress just to make him suffer. He was now immersed in the joy of hosting a new show. But President Liu was a man of his word. He directly handed the show over to Xia Hanmo. In other words, Xia Hanmo directly bypassed everyone else and became the person in charge of the show. So no matter what Zhou Qing did, he had to listen to Xia Hanmo. "Zhou Qing, I'll show you how terrifying a vengeful woman can be." Tang Ning knew everything about Xia Hanmo like the back of her hand. In the end, she could only sigh. She never expected Xia Hanmo to return for revenge. Perhaps, following President Liu was the best ending for her. After all, even though President Liu wasn't a proper man, he was generous to women. There was a rumor in the industry that every woman that had been with him would praise each other when they broke up. I can't wait to see Zhou Qing's expression when he finds out that Xia Hanmo has become the person in charge of the show. A man like him should go to hell. Long Jie scoffed. "I hope Xia Hanmo's revenge will be strong and not cowardly." Tang Ning turned and looked at Long Jie. This woman had already been a mother for so long, but she still couldn't control her liveliness. "There's a show for you to watch." If that's the case, doesn't that mean Xia Hanmo has found herself a new backer? Are you willing to be someone's mistress? Tang Ning asked. Of course not. This is the best way to torture Xia Hanmo. Of course, if she manages to hold on to President Liu, then that's because she's capable. Even if we meet again in the future, we will still be in the same industry and I won't ostracize her, Tang Ning replied. A pitiful person was bound to have a hateful side. This was Xia Hanmo's life. We can move on from this person. Let's talk about the next person, Tang Ning said to Long Jie. She then turned on her laptop and showed her the most recent email she had received. A letter asking for help? Long Jie looked through the letter curiously. She was completely dumbfounded. Oh God, does this really happen in our industry? Tang Ning nodded her head. I've already asked Ting to verify it. It's 100% true. The Fei Tian Awards had recently been very popular. Apart from Tang Ning, there were also a few other nominees for Best Actress. One of them was the main character in this letter. I've decided to let Lin Qian handle this artist. I'm sure, after experiencing Xia Hanmo's incident, Lin Qian has reconsidered her role as a manager. Okay, I'll go make arrangements. Long Jie nodded her head. She had a feeling a good show was about to start. Even though this year's Fei Tian Awards didn't seem to have any suspense. From the moment she became pregnant with her daughter, Tang Ning had gradually reduced her workload. After all, her health was more important, and Mo Ting wouldn't allow her to overwork herself. With Coco Lee's hard work, filming for The Ant Queen was progressing smoothly. After every climax, Xiao Sun would marvel at how smart Tang Ning was. If she hadn't suggested replacing Kate with a small-time actress, The Ant Queen would have to wait a few more years for the public to see the light of day. President Mo, after Tang Ning gives birth, you should ask her to return to acting. She's really talented. Mo Ting looked at Xiao Sun without saying a word. Honestly, I think she has a lot more to contribute to the film industry. We belong to each other, but we also respect each other. If she doesn't want to do something, I won't force her, Mo Ting replied. It's rare to see a loving couple like you, especially in the entertainment industry. Actually, it wasn't that hard. As long as you loved each other enough, it was fine. Late at night, the weather was cold. Mo Ting was still filming his scenes when Tang Ning finished cooking some chicken soup and brought it to him. Didn't I tell you to wait for me at home? I'm going to wait at home anyway. Besides, the things I can do for you are trivial, Tang Ning said as she placed the steaming hot chicken soup in Mo Ting's hands. Xiao Sun looked at the couple from afar. To be exact, the entire crew looked at the couple enviously and sighed. Whether a couple loved each other or not, it was easy to tell from the way they treated each other. You do it for me, I do it for you. They don't even think about themselves. This was perhaps the best way to look at love. The next day, President Lu's new program officially began production. Of course, he had yet to introduce the person in charge of the program. This was going to be the biggest surprise of the day. After all, Zhou Qing was going to attend a meeting, wasn't he? The scene was going to be spectacular. Chapter 923. Walking the same path. Some people would make it to the end, while others would fall behind and fall into the abyss. This was the reality of life. Even though Tang Ning tried her best, she still couldn't avoid it. Xia Hanmo's incident not only hurt Lin Qian, but it also enlightened her. Giving up was something she needed to learn. Xia Hanmo chose a path that she thought would lead her to a life and death struggle with Zhou Qing. But she had no other choice. As soon as Zhou Qing betrayed her, she no longer cared about the long term or the future. She was determined to make Zhou Qing pay for what he had done. Before the meeting started, President Lu said to Xia Hanmo in the villa that he had bought for her, "Don't be too ruthless. After all, they were once lovers. Give them a way out." Xia Hanmo was dressed in a black suit and looked energetic. Her face was expressionless, but her feelings towards President Lu were complicated. This was a man that used special methods to possess her, so she should have hated him to the core. Yet he ended up giving her a new home, and she did all of this willingly. She gave up on a bright future and insisted on digging her own grave. As a result, who could she blame for getting herself to this point? Xia Hanmo suddenly thought back to the night at the abandoned amusement park when Lin Qian appeared in front of her covered in injuries. How sad must Lin Qian have been at that time? She felt that she would never be able to make up for the guilt she felt towards Lin Qian. "Okay," Xia Hanmo replied. In the end, Xia Hanmo replied to President Lu. But they both understood that Xia Hanmo would never let Zhou Qing off easy. Soon Xia Hanmo arrived at the company building of Dongxing Pictures. After seeing Xia Hanmo, the relevant staff of the company confirmed that she was the new person in charge of the company. How did things end up like this? Didn't Superstar Media give up on Xia Hanmo? Didn't she follow Zhou Qing to the television station? How did she end up as our boss? What other reason could there be? All she did was climb into President Lu's bed. I was wondering why such a big case was handed over to a woman that doesn't know anything. It turns out, they were throwing money away for the sake of a beauty. That's enough. Since it's President Lu's arrangement, we'll just help Miss Xia. Although President Lu's personal life wasn't open and above board, he was famous for being calm and cunning in the management of the company. The employees of the company also trusted and were loyal to him. This was closely related to the benefits that President Lu gave his employees. Soon, Xia Hanmo entered the director's office. She had officially taken over the show. "Director Xia, the meeting is about to start." Xia Hanmo looked at her new secretary and nodded. "Call me when everyone is here." "All right." The new secretary knew how Xia Hanmo got promoted, but she still treated her with respect. Because Xia Hanmo's life was quite interesting, full of ups and downs. Soon all the staff for the new program were in place. Zhou Qing also arrived on time. But the person in charge's seat was still empty. So everyone was confused. Director Lu said that the new director will be in charge of this show. Why is he not here yet? Everyone calm down. The director will be here soon. Xia Hanmo's secretary comforted before she left. A few minutes later, the door to the meeting room was pushed open by the secretary, and Xia Hanmo walked in. Everyone was so shocked that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Especially Zhou Qing. As soon as he saw Xia Hanmo, he thought she was here to cause trouble, so he immediately stood up and approached her. "This isn't a place for you. If you want to see me, go wait outside." Xia Hanmo glanced at Zhou Qing in disdain and said in a cold tone, "I'm not here to see you, Mr. Zhou. You're being too presumptuous. Since you're not here to see me, why are you here?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Zhou, but everyone is waiting for Director Xia to start the meeting," Xia Hanmo's secretary reminded. "Director Xia?" Zhou Qing muttered to himself. "That's right. I am the person in charge of the new show, Xia Hanmo. From now on, please take care of me." After speaking, Xia Hanmo walked over to the main seat and sat down. Zhou Qing's face turned green. He never expected that Xia Hanmo would put on an act like this. How could she suddenly become his direct superior? Is President Lu sure? Why would he need someone like this to be in charge? Zhou Qing questioned Xia Hanmo. But as mentioned before, President Lu was good at leading his subordinates. Since Xia Hanmo was the person that President Lu wanted to protect, everyone in the company had to do as she was told. "We believe in Director Xia. Plus, a hero doesn't have to be judged by his background. Since Director Xia is now in charge, everyone in Dongxing will be responsible for supporting her." "Zhou Ge, is there anything wrong with that?" Zhou Qing was speechless as his expression turned ugly. "Mr. Zhou, if you want to continue working in Dongxing, I think you should treat me better," Xia Hanmo sneered. Xia Hanmo sneered. "Everyone thinks that you're in high demand, but we all know what you really look like, so why bother pretending? You should be grateful that President Lu is willing to give you a chance to get back on your feet. If you have any other thoughts, I can kick you out at any time." Zhou Qing's face turned from green to red because of Xia Hanmo's insults. "If there's nothing else to say, we can start the meeting now." President Lu had already prepared everything. Xia Hanmo's presence was merely a formality. In reality, whether or not she was the director was secondary. However, Zhou Qing was feeling extremely uncomfortable. He wanted to contact President Lu and demand an explanation. He even gave him a phone call. But the person who picked up his phone was Xia Hanmo. "President Lu. I'm Xia Hanmo. Why are you picking up President Lu's phone call?" Hearing this question, Xia Hanmo laughed. "Why are you still asking me? Didn't you send me to President Lu's bed? Now that I've fulfilled your wish, why are you still asking me?" "Xia Hanmo, you're a slut. I can't compare to you." "Zhou Qing, President Lu has already confirmed with the station manager's son that you were the one that broke his right arm. Do you think you can still live? Must you be so ruthless?" Zhou Qing gritted his teeth in anger. "I can be even more ruthless." After replying, Xia Hanmo hung up the phone. She really needed to thank President Lu for everything that he had done. "Have you vented your anger?" President Lu asked as he puffed on a cigar. "Not enough," Xia Hanmo replied. "Haha, take your time. You'll have plenty of chances. After all, Zhou Qing will never leave the country. To be honest." Chapter 924. Hairui has been involved for a long time. Zhou Qing will be slowly tortured to death by this industry. After hearing this, Xia Hanmo understood that Hairui had gotten involved for the sake of Tongning and Lin Qian. "You were fine following Tongning, yet you sacrificed yourself for a man like that. Although I, Lu Qingfeng, am not a good person, I have always been generous towards women. So as long as you want me to, I will do my best to support you and make you famous." After hearing this, Xia Hanmo's emotions became even more complicated. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt like she was being protected. But she quickly realized, how long could this protection last? But no matter what, President Lu was still better than the jerk Zhou Qing. At least, Zhou Qing had only lied and betrayed her. He had never done anything for her. After making the phone call, Zhou Qing did not raise his guard. He knew that the station manager's son already knew the truth, but he did not put his guard up at all. Soon the doorbell rang. Zhou Qing immediately stood up to open the door. But before he could see who it was, he was punched in the stomach. Of course, the man was an expert, so he couldn't possibly attack an area that would leave a scar. So he simply punched Zhou Qing's stomach. Trash, let me tell you, from now on, I will appear in front of you every few days to give you a good beating. The station manager's son has specially paid for me to torture you for the rest of your life. Consider yourself unlucky. Zhou Qing lay on the floor, unable to move. The pain in his stomach made him cramp up and he soon fainted. Tongning had once said that karma was important in this world. If you planted a seed in the past, you would definitely reap the same result in the future. Zhou Qing's fate was not worthy of sympathy. After all, to the public, everyone still thought he was as glamorous as ever. But because of this, he was in pain. All that was left of him was a shell. He was going to slowly play with it. No one noticed that Zhou Qing was injured. The next day, he did not show up on set. As soon as Xia Hanmo saw him, she asked the staff, "Why isn't Zhou Qing here?" "We've already called to rush him. It seems Zhou Gu has been injured and is in the hospital," the staff replied. "Why? I heard he was attacked at home." Xia Hanmo didn't ask any further. She had a rough idea of what was going on. This was Zhou Qing's retribution. Retribution for the sins he brought upon himself. After Superstar Media kicked Xia Hanmo out, the public had their doubts about Superstar Media. But the fact that Tongning couldn't stand it anymore meant that Xia Hanmo had indeed done something outrageous. But the only good thing was Xia Hanmo didn't step out to complain about her innocence after being betrayed by her manager. This was the only good impression Superstar Media had left. Meanwhile, Luo Sheng's acting career was getting better and Xinglan's status was getting higher and higher. So, the public had high expectations for Tongning, and hoped that they could become someone that Tongning was willing to train. But everyone knew that Tongning only accepted talented artists that had endured unfair treatment. As for the others, she didn't even want to look at them. Tongning was about to hand over a new task to Lin Qian. This artist that had sent her a letter asking for help was no longer young. She was a 3-time Best Actress winner, but in the end, she ended up being disfigured. And the person who harmed her was now taking the best things for her, and enjoying everyone's love. She couldn't accept it. As soon as Lin Qian saw Tongning, she looked at her questioningly. "Ningjia, she's already 40 years old and her face is already disfigured. Does she still want to act on television? Does she want to return to the film industry? I'm afraid that's a bit difficult." She thought about Luo Sheng and Xinglan. They were both young, beautiful and had the money to back them up. The only reason they were able to become famous was because they had a large fan base. But this actress, why did I ask you to take over this artist? The reason is simple. It's because a person's soul is immortal. I think she's very compatible with you. An actress's value doesn't lie in how many films she has appeared in, or how much she has achieved. Instead, it lies in her determination to continue working on her career. Have a look at the information in your hands first, and tell me what you think. Lin Qian was confused, but she still opened up the information. According to the information, Luo Sheng's early years had been smooth sailing. But because she was too kind, she always trusted her assistant. Who would have thought that her assistant would have evil intentions and try to replace her? Not only that, she attended events on her behalf and acted as a substitute. In the end, she ended up taking away the awards and status that belonged to her. She even made a fuss about her recipes and almost caused her to lose her ability to walk. This was also the time that she ended up with a scar on her face. Who was her previous assistant? Feng Jing. Is she also one of the nominees for the Fei Tian Awards? Lin Qian asked. Tongning nodded her head. Yes, that's her. Lin Qian knew that Tongning hated people that stepped on others to get ahead. So it was no wonder that Luo Yinghong's letter moved Tongning. In that case, Ningjia, what do you intend to do? Sign her. As soon as Tongning said this, she immediately put her plan into action. As soon as the public heard about this, they were shocked. This time, Tongning wasn't helping a young singer or a handsome young man. She was helping a 40-something-year-old actress that had a disfigured face. Is Tongning playing with fire this time? Not only is she old, she's also disfigured. How could Tongning promote an actress that's been out of fashion for so many years? What is she thinking? If Tongning manages to make this person famous, I'm going to chop off my head and let her kick it around like a ball. Of course, since Tongning had taken a liking to this woman, it meant that she had experienced an unusual experience. So the person that had caused her to become like this must have been nervous. That's right, it was Feng Jing. Feng Jing's work had also been nominated for the Fei Tian Awards. Unfortunately, she had been suppressed by Tongning's survivor. Now Tongning had even picked her up as an opponent. How could she swallow this anger? It didn't take long before Feng Jing contacted Tongning through her agency. Over the phone, the 40-something-year-old Feng Jing appeared calm and experienced. Tongning, as a junior, you should respect your seniors. Did you really think that you are the vein of the entertainment industry? Don't get too involved. As soon as Tongning heard this, she laughed and replied, Feng Jia, I hope you can keep your composure. Just like when you stole someone's things, you have to be careful with every step. From the looks of it, you want to be my enemy? Feng Jia simply wants to go back to being an actress. Her? Old and ugly? Haha, you may not even be a match for me. Chapter 925. Don't tell me about justice and fairness. In this industry, I only recognize the winner as king. Tongning, if you want to do something, then bring it on. After speaking, Feng Jing hung up the phone. Behind Tongning, Mo Ting overheard their conversation. As he carried the child in his arms, his expression remained calm. Are you being threatened again? Why are you always being threatened? I can't help it. If I insist on certain things, I'm bound to offend some people. Could it be that President Mo is tired of protecting me? Tongning turned around and smiled. Mo Ting shook his head and put down his son. He then pulled Tongning into his arms. No, you have no idea how special you are to me. In this world, there weren't many people that dared to go against the current. And Tongning happened to be that type of person that dared to challenge others and refused to admit defeat. No matter what, I need to go see Hong Jie first. Always bring bodyguards with you and be careful. Mo Ting's most basic requirement for Tongning was. Tongning nodded her head and wrapped her arms tightly around Mo Ting's waist. She didn't know why, but perhaps it was because she had been through too much recently. She only felt safe and steady in Mo Ting's arms. Okay, Zichen is still outside. I'll carry him in first. After speaking, President Mo turned around to find the little rascal, Mo Zichen, crawling into the living room on his own. He looked at his parents suspiciously. He wasn't like Mo Zishi, who asked for a hug as soon as Mo Ting returned home. He was a child that didn't want to be carried by his parents. He was a complete mischievous person. This rascal is going to be amazing when he grows up. Tongning couldn't help but laugh. President Mo humphed. If he's sensible early, then he'll start training early. He's still so young. He's still Mo Ting and Tongning's son. The little rascal had no idea what his parents were talking about. He simply dragged his butt and crawled over to the bed. Of course, he couldn't get onto the bed. In the end, President Mo had to pick him up and place him on the bed. Mo Zichen sat on the bed and stared blankly at his father. After looking at him for a moment, he turned around and picked up a toy beside him. He had no intention of paying attention to Mo Zichen. He could play happily on his own. Seeing the interaction between the father and son, Tongning was shocked. No matter how she looked at it, Mo Zichen's actions didn't seem like something a 2-year-old would do. This child is so smart. I wonder who he resembles. Of course I'm like you. Mo Ting patted Tongning on the head. You only know how to make me happy. Mo Ting smiled. After coaxing the child to sleep, he returned to the bedroom with his wife. No matter how bloody the outside world was, this home was Tongning's eternal paradise and warm harbor. Lin Qian was about to take on a new job. But before this, Mother Li repeatedly asked her to find a time to settle things with Li Jin. That way, she would be able to justify herself in the future. Qian, I don't mean to offend you. I simply want to ask if there's anyone else in your family. Back then, why were you adopted by the Quan family? After hearing Mother Li's question, Lin Qian felt a little uncomfortable. But since she was already living in the Li family home, and Li Jin's parents treated her so well, she had no reason to hide anything. If you don't want to tell me, then don't. Lin Qian shook her head and said to Mother Li at the dining table, Auntie, I'm actually not too sure about my background. I've been with the Quan family since I was young. After I became an adult, I went overseas to study. So I honestly don't know if I have any relatives left in this world. After hearing this, Mother Li immediately hugged Lin Qian. If you can't remember, then don't think about it. From now on, we will be your parents. Good girl, you are a loyal and affectionate child. Old Li and I truly like you. Plus, Jinair also likes you. So we hope you can settle down as soon as possible. But I'm currently working. That's okay. Just focus on your work. Auntie isn't an open-minded person that insists on being served by a daughter-in-law. I also hope that girls can be independent. So go ahead. Lin Qian felt like she had used up all the luck in her life on meeting Li Jin and the Li family. Thinking about how well Mother Li treated her, she couldn't help but cry. With a boss and friend like Tongming, a lover and confidant like Li Jin, and the love of Mother and Father Li, Lin Qian felt that her life was already perfect. So as soon as Li Jin returned home, she couldn't help but tell him, I agree to get married. Li Jin was a little surprised as his hand that was taking off his military uniform paused. I said I agree to get married. Seeing Lin Qian's face turn red, Li Jin carried her in his arms and placed her on the dressing table. Otherwise, did you think you could run away? You're already living in my room. Let's be serious. I want you to help me investigate my background. I know that it's now possible to record my fingerprints and compare them to the database. What if your biological parents aren't good people? Li Jin asked. Are you really prepared to accept this? I want to get married to you. I want to get married with a clean slate. I don't want anything bad to happen and bring shame to the Li family. After all, you've treated me so well. Li Jin hugged Lin Qian and nodded his head. I agree. On the third day of preparation for the new program, the host finally appeared in front of everyone. Xia Hanmo could tell that Zhou Qing's injuries weren't light. He was forcing himself to stay awake as his face turned pale. But so what? If a jerk was sick, wouldn't he still be a jerk? Zhou Ge, you don't look so good. Are you sure you're okay? One of the staff rushed over to help him up. I'm fine. Let's continue. Zhou Ge, you're so professional. As soon as Xia Hanmo heard this, she couldn't help but sneer. Zhou Ge, you sure know how to act pitiful. Should I tell everyone how you got hurt? Xia Hanmo, don't be so ruthless, Zhou Qing warned as he gritted his teeth. There's still some fun to be had. I love seeing you at my beck and call. Don't you also need to obey President Liu? I especially enjoy the feeling of stepping on your head. So, why would I be ruthless? Zhou Qing glared at Xia Hanmo. However, Xia Hanmo simply smiled. I know what you're thinking. You want to get rid of me, don't you? Speaking of which, let me warn you, Zhou Qing, it's best that you don't compete with me in terms of ruthlessness. To make you suffer, I'm willing to sacrifice my life. Even if I have to die, I will drag you down with me. You're crazy. Zhou Qing humphed before he turned and left. However, his current life was indeed very difficult. After all, he didn't dare to return home, and simply stayed in the hospital. He was afraid that he would be caught and beaten up again. Chapter 926. After all, the only thing that kept Xia Hanmo going was her hatred towards Zhou Qing. President Liu was indeed good to her. It was almost like he was trying to make up for what he had done in the past. So she wanted to forget about that night. But there were some things that couldn't be easily forgotten. During her spare time from work, Xia Hanmo enjoyed visiting superstar media. Even though she knew that she would never receive Lin Qian's forgiveness, simply looking at Lin Qian made her feel a lot more relaxed. Recently, Li Jin had been driving Lin Qian to work more often. Did this mean that Lin Qian was getting married soon? Indeed, as soon as Lin Qian arrived at the agency, she told Tongming and Long Jie about it. As soon as Long Jie heard about it, she smiled. It's been a long time since Superstar Media held a happy event. Hurry up and get married. Have you already decided? Tongming was also happy for Lin Qian. After all, she had met a man that treated her well and gave her everything. Aha. Lin Qian nodded. The Li family have always treated me well. I think marriage isn't a bad idea. As long as you're happy. But does the Li family still support you working? Long Jie was still doubtful. Yes, I've already told them about my situation and they are very supportive, Lin Qian said before she fell into deep thought. After speaking, Lin Qian fell into deep thought. But I've been investigating my background recently. Haha, who knows, you might be the heiress of a wealthy family. Don't be afraid. Long Jie was always optimistic, so Tongning and Lin Qian couldn't help but laugh. President Tang, Ms. Luo is here. Tongning's secretary knocked on Tongning's office door. Let's go, your artist is here, she said to Lin Qian. Lin Qian nodded her head and followed Tongning out of the office. As soon as they saw Luo Yinghong, they quickly greeted her. This was the first time Lin Qian and Long Jie had seen Luo Yinghong in person. From her appearance, she appeared to be a gentle woman with wavy hair and beautiful phoenix eyes. However, there was a long scar on the left side of her forehead. These were probably the scars that Feng Jing had inflicted on him. Tongning, I'm sure you're aware of my situation. Originally, after so many years, I had already stopped thinking about her. But that woman, Feng Jing, is really scary. Do you know what she's been doing lately? She's actually getting close to my son. My son is only 22 years old. At such a young age, he actually told me that he fell in love with a 40-year-old actor. How can I accept such a thing? Didn't Feng Jing think her actions were disgusting? She has already taken everything from me, and now she wants to take away my son. She's playing with my life as a form of entertainment. What else can I do? I'm really helpless right now. I think, only by returning to the entertainment industry, will my son be able to take back his admiration for his mother. I want to save my family, so I've come to ask you for help. After hearing about Luo Yinghong's experience, everyone fell silent. They never imagined that there would be such a complicated story. Poor parents, yet Luo Yinghong's son treated a traitor as his father. No wonder Luo Yinghong wanted to make a comeback after disappearing for so many years. I know that the world is dominated by young and fresh actors. At my age, it's impossible for me to make a comeback. But for the sake of my son, I'm willing to give up everything. Perhaps no one would be able to tell how despicable Feng Jing was. But when they thought about it carefully, they realized that she had already taken away someone's life. Now she was trying to take away someone's family. This was even more despicable. Tongning was silent for a moment as she scanned Luo Yinghong from head to toe. I can still be saved. Luo Yinghong couldn't believe her ears. Tongning actually said that she could still be saved? But if you want to change, then you need to have the courage to try. Plus, the process won't be easy. I've already gotten to this point and experienced everything that needed to be experienced. What else can't I do? Luo Yinghong smiled bitterly. So whatever plan you have, as long as you think I can be saved, then go ahead. I'm willing to endure any hardship. I'm relieved to hear that. This meeting with Luo Yinghong once again filled Tongning with emotions. It turned out, there were plenty of people in this world that were just like her, sacrificing themselves for someone else. But not everyone was like her and retaliated. Luo Yinghong had endured for over 10 years, but she still couldn't find peace. Even now, she was still being humiliated by Feng Jing. She didn't even let her son off. It was clear to see how vicious this woman was. I've finally seen the world. It turns out, there are actually women that have a lot of sexual needs and want to find a younger man. Long Jie couldn't help but sigh. Of course, this was only after Luo Yinghong left. How much does Feng Jing hate Hong Jie, that she wouldn't even let her son off? It's not necessarily because she hates Hong Jie. She simply feels good doing it, that's all. Tongning replied. In that case, what do you plan to do? Tongning finally entered the main topic. She looked at Lin Qian and said, prepare a physique teacher and a fitness coach. Hong Jie needs to first change her image in her son's heart, and also in the eyes of the public. Right now, she's worse than a newcomer. Everyone is waiting to see her make a fool of herself. In that case, what's your opinion of her? Lin Qian asked. An inspirational and elegant woman. In order to win back her son, she's willing to sacrifice everything and do everything she can, Tongning explained. Of course, there's a risk that the media will mislead her. So this time you need to control the tempo. Most importantly, Feng Jing is going to cause trouble and she's going to bite back. Plus, this time, she's not going to return to being an actress. That's useless. Feng Jing won't lose. What we need to do is surprise everyone. This time, it wasn't just Luo Yinghong's battle. It was also superstar media's key to moving forward. After all, Luo Yinghong's chances of becoming famous again were too slim. There were countless eyes watching. What other unexpected PR tactics could Tang Ning come up with? Feng Jing thought that Tang Ning would make Luo Yinghong compete with her. But that wasn't the case. Luo Yinghong was born into a prestigious family and had been talented since a young age. Feng Jing, on the other hand, was merely a small assistant. Even though Feng Jing had been in the industry for many years, there were still a lot of things that couldn't be learned easily. She needed to learn them systematically. So Tang Ning wanted Luo Yinghong to pick up the pieces. No matter how impressive Feng Jing was now, she would always be mindful of her family background. This was what Tang Ning wanted to make Luo Yinghong suffer. Chapter 927. Why did Luo Yinghong's son despise her? Actually, it wasn't hard to understand why. Luo Yinghong was once an amazing actress, but she lost to her little assistant. Luo Yinghong continued to vent her hatred in front of her son. She was indirectly showing her son how capable Feng Jing was, and how she was able to steal everything that belonged to his mother. Most importantly, Luo Yinghong was once glamorous. But after her son was born, he did not enjoy the glory that she once brought. So he despised his mother and developed a desire to conquer Feng Jing. As a result, Luo Yinghong's son had mixed feelings towards Feng Jing. He admired her, wanted to conquer her, and wanted to receive motherly love from her. But no matter what, his attention was always on Feng Jing. If he wanted to turn the situation around, it was almost impossible to rely on forceful methods. This was purely a psychological battle. If he wanted to win, he had to take it one step at a time. Lin Qian accepted the challenge because Luo Yinghong's matter didn't just affect superstar media. It also affected her personally. After her relationship with Xia Hanmo ended, she didn't know if she could pull herself together again. So Tang Ning stood beside her and taught her how to strategize. But at the same time, she also took some time to visit the police station to record her fingerprint. But after a few days, there was still no news. In reality, the results of the fingerprint comparison had already been released. Li Jin was notified by the police, but he did not tell Lin Qian. While the two elders of the Li family were happily preparing for the couple's wedding, Li Jin decided to keep this secret to himself forever. Over the past 20 years, Lin Qian had already suffered so much. So for the rest of her life, he simply wanted her to be happy. After returning home, Lin Qian asked Li Jin about the fingerprint. But Li Jin simply replied, "The police haven't received any news. I think it's like a rock has been buried in the ocean." Lin Qian took a deep breath. Although she felt it was a pity, there was nothing she could do. After all, the fingerprint was the only evidence. If even the police couldn't do anything about it, what could she do? Be good and be Mrs. Li. Let bygones be bygones. Lin Qian nodded her head and placed her focus on Luo Yinghong's matter. Li Jin liked to see Lin Qian get serious. So in the study room, the two were surprisingly harmonious. However, Lin Qian would never find out that Li Jin's safe contained all the information about her. Late at night, in a certain high-end villa, Feng Jing held onto a wine glass as she sat in the garden, quietly admiring the night view. Then her assistant opened the door and entered the room. In addition to bringing her the new drama that she was about to take on, she also brought a surprising piece of news. "Sister Jing, my nephew contacted me. Recently, someone has been doing a fingerprint comparison at the police station. When the results came out, he was shocked and immediately called me. After doing a family investigation on the fingerprint, I found out that the person seems to be your daughter. You've been guarding against her for so many years, and she has finally appeared." After hearing this, Feng Jing immediately put down the wine glass in her hand and turned to look at her assistant. "Are you sure?" "I've been in contact with the police. You know that. Ever since you told me about this, I've been on guard in case someone used this to attack you. I just didn't expect your daughter to still be alive." Feng Jing froze for a moment before she began to panic. So, the police have already given the person's information to the outside world. From what I understand, they did. Who is she? Feng Jing was extremely concerned about this question. I asked my nephew to send the information to my email. Have a look. Her assistant handed Feng Jing the information on her phone. Feng Jing looked at it and suddenly burst out laughing. How is this possible? How could there be such a coincidence? What coincidence? Have a look for yourself. Feng Jing handed the phone back to her assistant. A moment later, her assistant's eyes grew wide in shock. This is too. Her assistant was completely shocked. Since that's the case and she's part of the industry, we should pull her back. Wouldn't it be better for her to return to your side and help you? Feng Jing shook her head. She wasn't that optimistic. It's true that I abandoned her years ago. Do you think you'd be able to accept it if you were in my shoes? Feng Jing asked as she rubbed her forehead. Feng Jia, that's not good. If the other party finds out about this and uses it to attack you, what will you do? That's right. What would I do? Feng Jing fell into deep thought. In that case, I'll have to make up a story and put on a pitiful act. When the time comes, we might actually be able to pull her over to our side and work together with us from the inside. No, we need to make the first move. Find a time to ask her out. The assistant thought for a while. Since Feng Jing was the only one that knew the truth, the best solution was to let her make up a story. Don't worry, Feng Jia. I'll get it done as soon as possible. Lin Qian never imagined that the truth about her past after getting married would lead to an even more interesting story. In order to help Luo Yinghong get rid of her previous image, Tongning asked Lin Qian to help her manage her image. Most importantly, she also asked Lin Qian to make the scars on Luo Yinghong's face less scary. Tongning hired a beautician from South Korea to deal with Luo Yinghong's scars. Even if they couldn't completely remove them, they could at least lighten them. At this time, Tongning had no idea about Lin Qian's past because Lin Qian had never mentioned it before. So Tongning had no idea what was going to happen in the future. In fact, it was completely out of her control. Before Luo Yinghong began her training, Tongning asked her to arrange a meeting with her son to have a good talk with him. Luo Yinghong's son looked at his mother mockingly when she said that she wanted to make a comeback. Mom, you're not young anymore. Why do you have to go through so much trouble? If you go out now, won't it be even more embarrassing? Tongning instructed Luo Yinghong not to tell her son that she wanted to save him, even if her organs were destroyed. So she told her to act like she didn't care. You're already 22 years old. I can't control you anymore. If you think that being with that woman will make you happy, then go ahead. I've already thought it through and I have my own life to live. You should go. From now on, I won't care about you anymore. The tall boy looked at Luo Yinghong in ridicule. Don't try to break us up. Listen carefully, I want to live my own life. From today onwards, you go your own way and I'll go my own way. We are no longer mother and son. From today onwards, whether I succeed or fail, it has nothing to do with you. Of course, if one day I return to the film industry, don't come looking for me, your mother. Because I will never acknowledge you again. Chapter 928. Don't worry, I won't come looking for you. There's no way you can beat Feng Jing. Faced with her son's humiliation, Luo Ying's eyes turned red. But unlike before, she didn't try to persuade her son to stay. She knew that with Feng Jing around, the two of them would only grow apart. Afterwards, Luo Yinghong packed her things and left the house. This surprised the Luo family's son, who was secretly observing from the doorway. As soon as he returned home, he said to Feng Jing, "My mother doesn't seem to be joking this time. She even went looking for Tongning." Of course she wasn't joking. Feng Jing said as she lay in the living room in her silk pajamas. But it's useless. Even if she went looking for Tongning, there's no way she can beat me, Feng Jing said confidently. After all, she still had a trump card in her hands. After all, she still had a trump card in her hand that she hadn't used yet. Lin Qian never expected that Feng Jing would come looking for her. She thought it was because of Luo Yinghong. So, after consulting with Tongning, Lin Qian agreed to go. However, after arriving at the hotel, Feng Jing did not mention anything about Luo Yinghong. Instead, she looked at Lin Qian carefully and invited her to sit down. Lin Qian wasn't used to Feng Jing's attentiveness, so she said, "What do you want? Just say it. There's no need to put on an act." Feng Jing lifted her head and looked at Lin Qian. After staring at her for a moment, her eyes turned red. Qian, Ms. Feng, I'm not that close to you." Lin Qian was disgusted by Feng Jing. Qian. Feng Jing completely ignored Lin Qian's rejection as she grabbed onto her hand and burst into tears. "What are you trying to do?" Lin Qian pushed her away angrily. "It's all Mom's fault for losing you." Feng Jing took a few steps back and suddenly knelt on the floor. "I've been looking for you for so many years. It wasn't easy for me to find you." Lin Qian froze for a moment before she finally realized what Feng Jing meant. So she let out a laugh. "Miss Feng, have you made a mistake?" "How could Mom make a mistake? Didn't you recently go to the police station for a fingerprint comparison? Mom has been looking for you for a long time, so she keeps going to the police station. The police told me what happened," Feng Jing said as tears streamed down her face. "If you don't believe me, look at the information." Lin Qian was at a loss. Her mind was completely blank. She couldn't accept that the woman in front of her, who had stolen everything from someone else, was actually her mother. Qian, you really are my daughter." Lin Qian wasn't stupid. Although she received the information, she didn't completely believe Feng Jing's words. After all, she wasn't a silly girl that believed everything that others said. Qian, don't call me that. I don't like it. To be honest, I don't know how to trust you after crying all over me. So, I need to verify everything before making a decision. Qian, I really didn't mean to lose you. You have to forgive me." Lin Qian did not think that her mind had been affected by the fact that they had acknowledged each other. So she simply replied coldly, "Whether it is or not, I will find out after I investigate it." After speaking, Lin Qian stood up and left without even taking a sip of her coffee. After Lin Qian left, Feng Jing wiped away her tears and continued to drink her coffee like usual. She acted like she didn't know the person that had just put on a show. Of course, Lin Qian's heart wasn't completely unaffected. At least, as soon as she boarded the car and looked at the information in her hands, she clenched her fists. But she didn't have the time to be sad. Even if Feng Jing was her mother, she still had to find out the truth. After meeting with Feng Jing, Lin Qian immediately went to look for Tongning. After all, the two people that she trusted the most were Tongning and Li Jin. But Li Jin was currently on a mission at the military base, and wouldn't be home for a few days. As Tongning looked at the information in Lin Qian's hands, her eyebrows subconsciously furrowed. She didn't think that Feng Jing was sincere about reuniting with her daughter at a time like this. Lin Qian knew that it was a coincidence that Lin Qian was investigating her identity because of her marriage. But she didn't believe that Feng Jing didn't have an ulterior motive. "What do you plan to do now?" Tongning asked. Lin Qian lowered her head and sighed. "I'm not sure either. I simply want to talk to someone. If Luo Yinghong finds out about my relationship with Feng Jing, I'm afraid she won't trust me anymore. Who knows, she might even vent her anger on me. First of all, you need to understand the entire situation. Whether Feng Jing lost you or abandoned you makes a big difference. Secondly, as long as you keep your work and personal matters separate, I'm sure Hong Jie won't vent her anger on you. She's different from Feng Jing. Lastly, do you want to know who your biological father is?" Lin Qian shook her head. She knew that someone like Feng Jing couldn't possibly find a good man. Tongning nodded her head and patted Lin Qian on the shoulder. "Don't be sad. Worst comes to worst, we'll still be by your side." Lin Qian's eyes turned red as tears began to well up in her eyes. But after a moment she held them back. "Don't worry, a small matter like this won't affect me. If you can't hold on any longer, let me know. I'm fine." After speaking, Lin Qian gently hugged Tongning before leaving Hyatt Regency. Afterwards, she headed to the agency to see Luo Yinghong. At that moment, Luo Yinghong was in the middle of a lesson. She needed to regain her rusty skills as soon as possible. Perhaps because of Feng Jing, Lin Qian began to feel guilty towards Luo Yinghong, even though nothing had been proven yet. That night, Mo Ting returned home, and Tongning explained everything that happened to Lin Qian to her husband. As soon as Mo Ting heard everything, he pulled Tongning into his embrace. Lin Qian isn't as weak as you think. Feng Jing is just a clown. I'm afraid that Feng Jing revealed her identity because she wants to use Lin Qian. If your guess is correct, then there's no point in worrying. I'm sure Lin Qian can tell right from wrong. Even if she can't, she still has us, Mo Ting comforted. He knew that Tongning had endured the coldness of her family since she was young, so he understood her well. Lin Qian had already suffered so much at the hands of the Quan family. Was she going to be bullied by her own mother as well? If Feng Jing dared to, Tongning was going to do whatever it took to make Feng Jing suffer 100 times worse than Lin Qian. After returning to the Li family home, Lin Qian found her parents discussing about the guests. Her heart ached. She didn't mind her family background, but she did mind Feng Jing's character. Worst of all, she was afraid that if her father was dragged into the matter, the Li family would be even more humiliated. Chapter 929. Soon, Feng Jing arranged to meet with Lin Qian for the second time. She was planning to tell Lin Qian about her father. Lin Qian wanted to know what game she was playing, so she agreed to meet with Feng Jing again. But this time, Feng Jing didn't only meet with Lin Qian, she also met with Luo Yinghong. As soon as Lin Qian saw the two women sitting in the VIP room, she turned to leave. But Feng Jing pulled her back. Qian, where are you going? This was something Lin Qian did not expect. She never expected Feng Jing to act so quickly. Feng Jing, don't you think you're calling my manager too intimately? Luo Yinghong questioned. Feng Jing chuckled and pulled Lin Qian back. She then said to Luo Yinghong, I can call Qian any way I want. You probably don't know, Hong Jia, but Qian is my long-lost daughter. It wasn't easy for me to find her, but who would have thought that she would become your manager? Isn't this a coincidence? After hearing this, Luo Yinghong froze for a few seconds. She then glared at Lin Qian angrily. Is Feng Jing speaking the truth? Feng Jing must have thought that Lin Qian was an easy target. But Lin Qian was a thorn in her side. Hong Jia, to be honest, I'm not sure if this woman is telling the truth. She suddenly ran over to me in tears. Plus, even if she is, I think it's best that Ms. Feng doesn't expect me to help you or return to your side. I hate people that steal from others. Since I'm Hong Jia's manager, I will help her until the end. I don't care if Hong Jia believes me or not, I'll leave it at that. After speaking, Lin Qian turned to leave. But Feng Jing once again held her back. Qian, I'm your mother. You can't treat me like this. You obviously knew that Hong Jia would be angry at me if she found out about this. Yet you deliberately invited us here. I'm well aware of your motive. Lin Qian said as she struggled free from Feng Jing's grip. I'm disgusted by your actions. Qian. Feng Jing never expected that Lin Qian wouldn't give her any face. As soon as Luo Yinghong saw this, she couldn't help but clap her hands in approval. Great. You stole my son, so you should at least give me some compensation. I think it's perfect for your daughter to be my manager. Feng Jing swallowed her anger and glared coldly at Luo Yinghong. Ugly, not even the gods can make you famous again. Just wait and see. Luo Yinghong was quite surprised. After all, Lin Qian was Feng Jing's daughter. For a moment, she thought Lin Qian was up to no good. But when she thought about Lin Qian, and thought about what she had just said, Luo Yinghong had reason to believe that Lin Qian would never acknowledge Feng Jing as her mother. Is this what you call revenge? After returning to the agency, Luo Yinghong decided to have a chat with Lin Qian. From Lin Qian, she found out that Lin Qian wasn't the one behind the incident. Feng Jing was simply too shameless. Sister Hong, I hope you can believe me. Since you're my manager, of course I trust you. Even if I don't trust you, I still have to trust Tongning, Luo Yinghong said. Since things have gotten to this point, let's talk things out. Feng Jing likes to do despicable things. I don't want us to get hurt again. Thank you, Hong Jia, Lin Qian thanked. Luo Yinghong shook her head and smiled at Lin Qian. With you by my side, I'm sure that woman will feel like she's sitting on pins and needles. She'll definitely try to sow discord between us. Actually, as someone who's been a mother before, I can tell you for sure whether you were abandoned or accidentally lost. The public has never heard of Feng Jing's story. In other words, she doesn't want the public to know about your existence. If she was honest, she wouldn't have kept it a secret so well. After hearing this, Lin Qian nodded her head. She wasn't a saint, so she didn't find it hard to accept. After all, she had already expected this to happen. If a mother really lost their child, they would definitely look for her. According to Feng Jing's abilities, if she wanted to, she would have found her a long time ago. There was no way she would have gotten into a situation like this. Hongjia, get some rest after practice. Luo Yinghong gave her a friendly smile. But Luo Yinghong had underestimated Feng Jing. Since Feng Jing exposed her relationship with Lin Qian in front of her, Luo Yinghong was prepared for the worst. The next day, the entertainment media received an explosive piece of news. It turned out the famous actress Feng Jing had an illegitimate daughter. In fact, this illegitimate daughter was the adopted daughter of the Quan family, Lin Qian. As soon as the news was released, Feng Jing received a huge uproar. Netizens began to expose her. But Feng Jing didn't seem to care. She simply called Lin Qian multiple times, but Lin Qian did not pick up. After all, she had no place in Lin Qian's heart. Lin Qian was simply worried about what the Li family would think of her. So she opened up and told Mother Li everything. As soon as Mother Li heard about it, she was moved and hugged Lin Qian. Silly child, you must be sad. You're still worried about comforting us. Actually, we don't care about your background. You are a good child and the Li family has already decided that you are our daughter-in-law. As for those bastards out there, don't even think about adding to your drama. No matter what, we will always stand on your side. The Li family will be your safe haven for the rest of your life. Don't worry. Lin Qian was moved by Mother Li's words. Thank you, Auntie. We're almost a family. There's no need to thank me. Afterwards, Lin Qian received a phone call from Luo Yinghong. That woman is trying to frame me. I know, Hongjia, Lin Qian replied calmly. Lin Qian replied calmly. Since she dares to do this, she must be extremely confident. Don't get involved in this matter. Let her create more drama for herself. Okay. As long as you know that I didn't do it, that's fine. Luo Yinghong replied. Lin Qian ignored Feng Jing as well. Meanwhile, the rumors became more and more ridiculous. Seeing that she couldn't drive a wedge between Lin Qian and Feng Jing had no choice but to admit that she once had a daughter, and that she had been looking for her for many years. The police also provided her with proof that she had never given up on looking for her own flesh and blood, and had persisted for so many years. As an actress, I wanted to keep my private life a secret and not let my past affect everyone's image. That's why I didn't announce it to the public and left it to the police. But now that I've found my daughter, I can step forward and shoulder my responsibilities as a mother. I only hope that my daughter can forgive me for my carelessness and the pain I've caused her for so many years. He was putting on a good show, but Lin Qian did not respond to him at all. Chapter 930. The netizens quickly gathered their thoughts and tried to figure out what this sudden drama was all about. Feng Jing used to be Luo Yinghong's assistant, but after Luo Yinghong became famous, she started her own agency. And now, the long-dormant Luo Yinghong decided to make a comeback. But Luo Yinghong's current manager, Lin Qian, was Feng Jing's daughter. Plus, the public had no idea that Feng Jing was actually married. Why was the drama getting more and more exciting? Although the public didn't know what Feng Jing had done to Luo Yinghong, the industry already had all sorts of speculations. Now that a drama was about to begin, it was naturally used to hype it up. At this time, Feng Jing was in a pitiful state, so she did not hide the fact that she owed her daughter. Her apology was quick, so the public couldn't hate her. After all, the police were there to testify on her behalf. But no matter how big of a commotion Feng Jing made, Lin Qian did not respond. Even though she was being chased by the media, she still kept her mouth shut. After receiving no response, Feng Jing spent the entire day crying and looking haggard. She made sure her image was as pitiful as it could be. In fact, she even personally contacted superstar media. Tongning was in the middle of looking through some documents. After hearing from her secretary that Feng Jing was at the door, she turned to look at Lin Qian. Lin Qian was focused on taking care of Luo Yinghong, so she turned off her computer and walked out to meet with Feng Jing. Tongning, hurry and tell Qian Qian to come out and see me. Tongning lowered her head and smiled. Feng Jia, your scenes are useless to superstar media. No matter how well you act, you are nothing but a joke to us. Tongning, Lin Qian is my daughter. All I want to do right now is bring my daughter back. You're afraid that Lin Qian and Hong Jia will reveal that you have an illegitimate daughter. That's why you're putting on a show, right? Tongning sat down elegantly on the sofa. Because you know that with Lin Qian's appearance, your scandals will be exposed sooner or later. So, rather than letting others control you, why don't you control it yourself? Don't tell me you want your daughter back. Lin Qian won't go with you. Tongning, what right do you have to interfere between me and Qian Qian? Feng Jing sneered. Elsewhere, I may not have the right, but at Superstar Media, I think I have the right. After all, you are currently standing on my turf. I'll be back. Feng Jing knew that she wouldn't be able to see Lin Qian this time, so she turned and left. Not long after, Lin Qian walked out of the practice room and saw the empty doorway. She didn't say a word. In the future, she'll probably come to disgust you once every few days. You have to be prepared. By acting pitiful, she can take her career to the next level. In fact, she can even cause you and Hong Jia's relationship to be in danger at any time. Lin Qian sighed helplessly. His heart felt terrible, but he couldn't find a place to vent it. As Tongning looked at Lin Qian and saw the pained expression on her face, she could imagine how she would be forced by Feng Jing in the future. Ning Jia, help me think of something. Tongning seemed to be waiting for Lin Qian to say this, but she was afraid she wasn't firm enough. Are you sure? You know, when I deal with people, I will never be lenient. Of course I'm sure, Lin Qian replied. Okay, then you just wait for a good show. Tongning had already treated Lin Qian like a sister, so how could she possibly watch as Lin Qian was tortured like this? Afterwards, wherever Lin Qian went, she was once again surrounded by reporters. But this time Lin Qian did not avoid them. Instead, she faced one of the cameras and responded, I'm just a manager. I don't want the public to pay too much attention to my identity. Plus, I'm still investigating this matter. Lin Qian, are you saying that you're questioning Feng Jing's identity as your mother? There are plenty of things I'm questioning. From what I remember, I was abandoned. After speaking, Lin Qian turned to leave. But her response gave the media too much information. Did Lin Qian think that Feng Jing had abandoned her? After seeing Lin Qian's interview, Feng Jing was so angry that she flipped the table. Her daughter sure didn't know what was good for her. If Lin Qian insisted on forcing her, then she had no choice but to use force. Afterwards, Feng Jing instructed her assistant to contact Lin Qian. She said that she had something important to discuss with Lin Qian. It was about her biological father. Although Lin Qian didn't want to face it, Feng Jing told her that if she didn't show up, she would tell Li Jin's parents about it. Qian Qian, you wouldn't want the Li family to cancel your engagement before you even get married, would you? Lin Qian had no choice but to agree to meet with Feng Jing. But before they met, Lin Qian still told Tongning about it. Tell me where you're meeting and I'll arrange it, Tongning said. Although I know you're feeling anxious right now, trust me, okay? Lin Qian nodded her head as the burden in her heart disappeared. At this time, Li Jin was still at the military base and had yet to return home. This was probably the only drawback of marrying a soldier. Soon Lin Qian arrived at the meeting place. As soon as Feng Jing saw Lin Qian, she grabbed onto her hand and cried, Qian Qian, I know you won't be able to forgive me, but I still hope that you can call me mother. Lin Qian assumed that Feng Jing was addicted to acting. Even without an audience, she could still entertain herself. So Lin Qian pulled her hand back. Tell me what happened to my father. I'm your mother. Is this how you treat me? As expected, Feng Jing immediately wiped away her tears and calmed down. Don't talk nonsense. Qian Qian, I'm your mother. You'll never be able to leave me in this lifetime. Feng Jing laughed before she said coldly, I want you to help me deal with Luoyinghong. Otherwise, I'll tell Li Jin's parents that your father is a rapist. I'm sure the Li family wouldn't allow the daughter of a criminal to enter their home." Lin Qian froze for a moment as she suppressed her emotions. "If this gets out, it won't do you any good either. If worse comes to worst, I'll just fight to the death. I'll be the victim. But you'll lose your love and your home." "You're insane," Lin Qian commented with one word. "It wasn't easy for me to get to where I am today. Luoyinghong, that slut, actually wants to take me back? Did you think I'd let her succeed? Of course not. So, I want you to give me an answer right now. Do you agree or not?" Lin Qian looked at Feng Jing and remembered that Tongming was right next door. Only then could she calm down her flustered thoughts. "Answer me." Chapter 931. "I don't agree to it." Lin Qian lifted her head after a moment of silence, and replied in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. She knew that if she was limited by one step, she would be limited by everything else. Feng Jing looked at Lin Qian in disbelief. After hearing Lin Qian's response, she asked like crazy, "Aren't you afraid that the Li family won't give up on you? If the Li family doesn't want me, then it's because we're not fated to be together. But I will never compromise with you. So, you can go ahead and tell the Li family that I won't be threatened by you." Feng Jing never imagined that Lin Qian would be so stubborn. Even after being threatened like this, she didn't budge. What was her heart made of? "Fine, since that's what you said, don't blame me for being heartless." Lin Qian glared at Feng Jing coldly. A moment later, she turned around and left Feng Jing's line of sight. She was determined and did not hesitate at all. Feng Jing sat in her chair, completely disappointed in her daughter. Why was Lin Qian so disobedient? Since that was the case, she no longer needed to care about their mother-son relationship. In reality, Lin Qian did not leave the hotel. Instead, she turned around and entered the room next door. As soon as she saw Tongming, she pounced on her. Lin Qian did not cry, but Tongming knew that Lin Qian's heart was about to break. Tongming did not immediately comfort Lin Qian. After quite some time, she finally said, "I believe in Li Jin's feelings for you. You need to believe it too. Don't worry, I won't admit defeat to evil. Especially not to someone like Feng Jing." Tongming knew that Lin Qian had always been strong. Even if she was being threatened by Feng Jing, she would never compromise. "I will definitely get revenge for you." Lin Qian nodded her head and left the hotel with Tongming. At this time, Lin Qian received a phone call from Li Jin. But Lin Qian did not pick up. Soon, Lin Qian returned to the Li family home. As soon as she saw Li Jin, she did not say a word. After quite some time, she finally pounced into Li Jin's arms and hit his chest. "What took you so long?" The first thing that Li Jin did after returning from his mission was to pay attention to the entertainment industry. So on the way home, he found out that Feng Jing had been stirring up trouble. Thinking of the grievances that Lin Qian had suffered over the past few days, he hugged her tightly in his arms. "Qian, I'm sorry." Lin Qian couldn't hold it in and finally started crying in Li Jin's arms. Li Jin was afraid that his parents would misunderstand, so he carried Lin Qian back to his room. Qian. After crying for a while, Lin Qian finally regained her composure and asked, "Did you already know about my background? Even Feng Jing received the news. Did you receive the results a long time ago?" Li Jin took a deep breath and hugged Lin Qian as he nodded his head. "I never planned on letting you know about this." Lin Qian sneered and shook her head. "Unfortunately, someone doesn't want me to have an easy time." "You know what? Li Jin, Feng Jing even threatened me today. If I don't help her achieve her goal, she'll tell auntie and uncle about my father." "What happened to your biological father?" Li Jin asked. In reality, he forced himself to remain calm on the surface, but he was actually heartbroken. Lin Qian was his treasure, yet there were people that repeatedly hurt her. She said that I was an illegitimate child that was left behind by her. After hearing this, Li Jin hugged Lin Qian tightly. "Luckily you didn't believe her." "Huh?" Lin Qian looked at Li Jin confusedly. Li Jin let go of her and went into the study room to retrieve some information. He then handed it to her. I asked a friend to investigate Feng Jing. According to the information, before Feng Jing became Luo Hong's assistant, she was once in a relationship with a rich heir. Afterwards, due to a series of bad behavior, she was abandoned by the rich heir. Not long after, you were born. So, your biological father should be that rich second-generation heir. Silly Qian Qian, luckily you didn't fall for her trap. Lin Qian looked at the information, and suddenly felt a weight lifted off her shoulders. If you want to acknowledge your biological father. No need, Lin Qian rejected. I'm doing great right now. I don't want to endure being abandoned again. Lin Qian's concerns weren't unreasonable. Since the rich heir came from a wealthy family, he must have been married and had children. So if she suddenly appeared out of nowhere, wouldn't she be ruining his peaceful family? Lin Qian didn't think it was necessary. Li Jin retrieved the information from Lin Qian's hands and placed it to the side. He then approached Lin Qian and pulled her into his embrace. If that woman wants to die and look for our parents, then let her. You need to trust that our parents aren't easy to deal with. Lin Qian leaned into Li Jin's embrace and nodded her head in relief. I trust you and I trust uncle and auntie. Li Jin cupped Lin Qian's face in his hands and kissed away her tears. However, as they passionately kissed, the couple almost lost control. However, at the crucial moment, Li Jin controlled himself and patted Lin Qian on the head before pushing her onto the bed. Have a good sleep. I'll wake you up when it's time to eat. Okay, Lin Qian was indeed tired. Very tired. After coaxing Lin Qian to sleep, Li Jin headed downstairs to discuss Feng Jing with his parents. As soon as Li Jin's parents heard this, Mother Li slammed her hands on the table. How could an animal like this exist? How could he use his own daughter? Mom, Qian Qian has suffered a lot. Don't worry, as long as this slut dares to come looking for me, I will put on a good show. I will let her know that she can't afford to offend or bully anyone. If she doesn't want Qian Qian, I want her, Mother Li humphed. As soon as Li Jin heard this, he was relieved. And you're always out on business, leaving Qian Qian to suffer on her own. There's no one to comfort her. Mom, when I'm not around, I'll leave Lin Qian in your care. If you weren't my son and working for the country, I would have kicked you to death a long time ago, Mother Li scoffed. Obviously, she was surprised that her son managed to find a woman like Lin Qian. It was like a flower stuck in cow dung. Li Jin was willing to suffer on his own. As long as his mother treated Lin Qian well, it didn't matter if a man was a little despised. In that case, I'll be waiting to watch a good show. Lin Qian had no idea what was happening, but the Li family were determined to get justice for their daughter-in-law. So, Tongming wasn't going to sit around either. Did Feng Jing think that she could do anything? It wasn't long before she realized that she had offended someone she shouldn't have offended. There was no doubt that Feng Jing was capable of taking action. On the surface, she had asked her manager to meet the Li family to discuss their marriage. She wanted to fulfill her responsibility as a mother. But Feng Jing's intentions were obvious and everyone knew what she was up to. Chapter 932. Mother Li pretended not to know anything about Lin Qian, so she naturally fell into Feng Jing's trap. The two agreed to meet as soon as possible to give Lin Qian and Li Jin an explanation. Mother Li told Lin Qian about Feng Jing's meeting with Lin Qian, who was about to leave for work that morning. She wanted her to be mentally prepared. Qian Qian, although you haven't acknowledged Feng Jing as your mother, since she made an appointment with me and your uncle, we naturally have to meet. Dinner will be at 7 p.m. at a nearby hotel. Don't forget the time when you get home. Auntie. Lin Qian called out to Mother Li uncomfortably. Leave everything to me. You don't need to worry about anything. Lin Qian nodded her head. Although she trusted Mother Li, she didn't trust Feng Jing, who knew how many tricks this woman had up her sleeves to achieve her motive. Although Lin Qian was worried, she had no choice but to head to Superstar Media to supervise Luo Hong's training. At work, she meticulously organized Luo Hong's classes so that one day, Luo Hong could return to her rightful position. But during breaks, Luo Hong always stood by the window in a daze. Feng Jing must have thought of plenty of ways to torture you. Hearing Luo Hong's words, Lin Qian turned her head and smiled bitterly. No one knows her better than I do. Luo Yinghong said as she wiped the sweat off her forehead. For the sake of our goal, we can sacrifice anything. So what if she's our own daughter? If you don't get rid of her, you will suffer for the rest of your life. Lin Qian did not say a word. She was worried about the dinner tonight. If Feng Jing had the guts to say that she had been raped, then there was nothing she could say. Tang Ning could tell that Lin Qian wasn't paying attention, so she tried her best to help Lin Qian gather more secrets about Feng Jing. She had a feeling that she would be able to uncover more terrifying secrets from Feng Jing. Lin Qian told Tang Ning about her parents' meeting that night. After hearing this, Tang Ning simply laughed. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you'll be embarrassed? Or are you afraid that the Li family will despise you? Lin Qian shook her head. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally kill her one day. Tang Ning placed her hand on Lin Qian's shoulder and shook her head. To deal with a slut, you can only use an even more despicable method. Tonight will definitely be a great show. Maybe. Lin Qian smiled and left the company at 6 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, she arrived at the hotel on time. As Lin Qian stared at the hotel entrance, she had no intention of stepping in. She had no intention of acknowledging Feng Jing's identity. After hesitating for a while, Lin Qian decided to enter the hotel. However, as soon as she stepped through the door, Mother Li pulled her aside. Auntie, why aren't you up there yet? Of course I'm going to wait for you, Mother Li said. Come, hold my hand. Lin Qian took the opportunity to hook her arm onto Mother Li's. Compared to Feng Jing, they looked more like mother and daughter. As the two arrived at the meeting place, Feng Jing and her assistant were already waiting impatiently. Mother Li had deliberately arrived half an hour late with Lin Qian. Sorry we're late. Mother Li led Lin Qian to sit down like they were blood-related. As soon as Feng Jing saw this, she stood up to pull Lin Qian to her side. But Mother Li quickly stopped her. No need. Qian can sit next to me. She's fine. I'm relieved to see that Mrs. Li treats Qian like her own daughter, Feng Jing said pretentiously. I was actually afraid that Qian would suffer after getting married. It seems she respects you a lot. She simply hates me as a mother, Feng Jing said, putting on an act. While the two women were talking, Li Jin and Father Li arrived. The two men acted like soldiers, so it was obvious that they didn't talk much. Li Jin took the opportunity to add a chair next to Lin Qian as he wrapped his long arms around her body, drawing her into his sphere of influence. He glared at Feng Jing with a warning look. Seeing this, Feng Jing continued to smile. My future son-in-law doesn't seem pleased with me. Qian has never acknowledged your identity, Li Jin replied straightforwardly. But I can't deny it, Feng Jing shrugged. I know that the Li family is a wealthy family, and must place a lot of importance on their reputation. That's why I want to make things clear to you today. I don't want you to accuse me of cheating in the future. It seems Ms. Feng has something important that you haven't told us yet, Mother Li said with a deeper meaning. Yes, I do. It's all about the past. To be honest, I have no idea who Qian's father is. Back then, I was young and arrogant and made a lot of mistakes. Even Qian's birth was unexpected. If news of this gets out of hand, I won't be responsible. Ms. Feng sure is straightforward. Aren't you afraid that you'll ruin your daughter's marriage? Mother Li asked as she raised an eyebrow. If I don't make things clear now, wouldn't it be even worse if I'm found out in the future? Plus, Qian was raised by the Quan family, and was in a relationship with her brother. By the way, has she told you all about this? Feng Jing asked in a provocative tone. Lin Qian looked at Feng Jing coldly. She hasn't said anything. Mother Li replied. Feng Jing glanced at Lin Qian before she turned to look at Mother Li and Father Li. She's probably too embarrassed to talk about it. Her father is unknown, her mother is being bullied, and the family that adopted her has ulterior motives. If I was her, I wouldn't say anything either. Ms. Feng, did you know that your words are enough to destroy Lin Qian's image in front of us? Our Li family has a strict tradition. We can't tolerate people that are despicable, nor can we tolerate people that act recklessly, Mother Li said angrily. That's right. That's why I'm curious. Why do you want Qian to be your daughter-in-law? It seems she's not being honest. Feng Jing continued to fan the flames. Mother Li turned and looked at her husband before she looked at Lin Qian and Li Jin. She then nodded her head. Indeed. Lin Qian lowered her head. She suddenly felt extremely nervous. At this moment, she felt like she had been betrayed by her mother and had no pride left to speak of. Although Lin Qian is my biological daughter, we've never interacted with each other before. So I did some research on her. She used to have a special relationship with the Quan family's adopted son, and she's in the entertainment industry. I'm sure she'll make your son a cuckold sooner or later. In summary, I don't approve of Lin Qian marrying your son because it's a disgrace to the Li family. I don't think I'm worthy of her. In order to play along with Feng Jing, Mother Li nodded her head. You're not wrong. After all, having a mother in the entertainment industry is indeed worrying. That's why I'm here today to help Qian cancel her engagement. Chapter 933. Seeing the expression on Mother Li's face, Feng Jing's lips secretly curved upwards. She believed that no parent would throw their son into a pit of fire. They clearly knew the woman's situation, yet they still wanted them to get married. Especially when Feng Jing saw Lin Qian's humiliated expression, she felt a sense of victory. She wanted to tell Lin Qian that as a daughter, if she didn't listen to her mother, she would end up losing everything. The Li family looked at Feng Jing without saying a word. This made Feng Jing think that the entire family was so angry that they were speechless. Indeed, the Li family were angry. But the reason for their anger was different from what Feng Jing imagined. Qian, things have already gotten to this point. Come home with me. After speaking, Feng Jing stood up from the dining table. However, Mother Li took the opportunity to hold on to Lin Qian's legs and glared at her coldly. Ms. Feng, you've really opened my eyes today. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. You've sold your daughter well. Feng Jing turned around and looked at Mother Li, not understanding where she was coming from. Mother Li laughed and played the voice recording on her phone to Feng Jing. You sure are despicable. After speaking, Mother Li stood up and pushed Lin Qian into his arms. Stand to the side. You're affecting my performance. As soon as Li Jin heard this, he immediately pulled Lin Qian and Father Li onto the sofa in the waiting area, leaving Mother Li to deal with Feng Jing. Firstly, you said that you're here to cancel Qian's engagement. I would like to ask you, Ms. Feng, what right do you have to cancel it? Don't talk to me about blood ties. I'm going to take Lin Qian overseas tomorrow and change her DNA. You can claim that you're Lin Qian's mother, but we're not going to admit it. It's fine that you were abandoned by a rich second-generation heir because you couldn't keep your man. At least you stole someone else's Best Actress title, so you didn't lose too badly. But I don't understand. Is it really that honorable to say that you were raped in front of outsiders? If you didn't feel embarrassed when you said that, I'd have to admire you from the bottom of my heart. Why didn't the Fei Tian Awards award you with the most shameless award? Also, I wasn't talking about Qian when I said, lustful generation. I was talking about you, the almighty Best Actress. You actually stole someone else's 20-year-old son to warm your bed. You sure are reckless. In the end, you're right. You're indeed not worthy of the Li family. Trash like you better not come looking for me a second time. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that the recording in my hands will become a joke. Mother Li was like a firecracker as she bombarded Feng Jing with her thoughts. Feng Jing's face turned red from the humiliation. Even though she considered herself to be shameless, she still felt extremely embarrassed when she heard that. But Mother Li did not say enough. She directly walked over to Feng Jing and looked down at her. This was the advantage of being tall. You don't want Qian, I want her. So, I don't want to hear anything bad about her from your mouth. She's going to be the daughter-in-law of the Li family. If anyone dares to ruin her image and speak ill of her, then I won't have been a government official's wife for nothing. If you know what's good for you, then get lost. If I find out that you threaten Lin Qian again, then I'm going to reveal everything that happened in the past to the public. After speaking, Mother Li pushed Feng Jing away. You're trash. You're dirtying my hands. Afterwards, Motherly said to the three people beside her. Aren't you going to leave? I'm about to puke from the stench. Fatherly looked at the two women, and they stood up from the sofa. Motherly pushed Feng Jing aside and deliberately held on to Lin Qian. The two women looked like mother and daughter, completely unaffected by Feng Jing's attempt to drive a wedge between them. Feng Jing was humiliated and Motherly even managed to get her hands on the recording. As she watched them leave, she was so angry that she almost flipped the table in front of her. How dare you trick me? Just wait and see. After boarding the car, Lin Qian began to cry. For some reason her heart ached. As soon as Li Jin saw this, he quickly wiped her tears away. You're fine. Why are you crying? I don't think I'm worth it. Lin Qian said as she sobbed. Good child. Don't let your thoughts be burdened. Your auntie has been through all sorts of storms over the years. How could she not be able to defeat a few pieces of trash? Don't worry, your auntie isn't someone to be bullied, Motherly comforted. Mom was once a female scout. Don't worry and let her protect you. Otherwise she'll be bored. Lin Qian was originally crying, but after hearing this, she let out a laugh. Thank you for protecting me. She remembered how well the Li family treated her. At the same time, when she faced Feng Jing again, she was going to show no mercy. Most importantly, everything that happened today made her realize one thing. There were some things that she had to settle with her own two hands. Otherwise, Feng Jing would never stop because she had no sense of shame. This meeting made Lin Qian realize how protective the Li family were, and made her even more determined to help Luo Yinghong. After hearing how Motherly tore Feng Jing apart, Tongning almost wanted to clap and cheer for Motherly. This was the type of explosive power and courage that she needed. Ningjia, I think it's time for Feng Jing to pay for what she's done. Tang Ning looked at Lin Qian, his eyes sparkling. In that case, let's take things one step at a time until she's beyond redemption. As Tang Ning said these words, she had already paved the way for Luo Yinghong. Of course, she also wanted to destroy Feng Jing. Luo Yinghong's rise was bound to cause Feng Jing's downfall. Do you already have a plan in mind? Tang Ning waved at Lin Qian and began to give her instructions. After hearing this, Lin Qian nodded her head. The reason why she was convinced by Tang Ning and was willing to become her right-hand man was because of Tang Ning's meticulous thinking and foresight. She had the ability to convince others. I understand. After 45 days of intensive training, Tang Ning instructed Luo Yinghong to appear at gyms, bookstores, golf courses, tennis courts and high-class skincare facilities. Every time Luo Yinghong appeared, she would attract the attention of the audience. Because of Luo Yinghong's change and positive and healthy lifestyle, they were touched. Before signing with Superstar Media, Luo Yinghong had the image of a resentful housewife. In fact, as time passed, she had already become a housewife and an old woman. She no longer looked like an actress. But after signing with Superstar Media, she jumped out of the box and left her normal life to live for herself. She worked out healthily and participated in all sorts of elegant activities. It was like she wanted to turn her future life into art. Seeing this, some people couldn't help but sigh. Even if Luo Yinghong no longer worked as an actress, she would still become an artist. It was all because of her talent. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.